2, and let's go. Good evening, everyone. My name is Steph. I'm Botanist Cool. I'm here today with these big old nerds. Everyone, feel free to introduce yourselves. Let's start off first with Annalisa Goodbarrel.
Like in character or out of character?
I can't believe it. I mean, I want you to introduce yourself as you first, and then okay, fair enough. Katie, introduce yourself, then the basics of your character. Let's kind of just go right on into it. Why not?
All right. I'm Katie. I've played with Steph for how long's it been? Like a year now.
A year and a half now,
It's,
yeah.
yeah. So I wouldn't say I'm great at Dungeons and Dragons, but I have a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
So this for this game I'll be playing Annalisa Goodbarrel. She is a halfling noble, and her class is Storm Herald Barbarian.
Awesome.
Um, yeah.
All right, let's just
Sh-
get.
uh, should we do physical descriptions or not?
Um, if you want to give a physical description, yeah, let's do it nice and slow. And hey,
All right.
Koneko, I'll explain some of the rules that we're going to be going on through later, specifically with me interacting with the stream. I'm going to have to apologize because of the concept of D&D is going to make me like really focus in on my co-host. Obviously, I'll also be watching chat, but just notice that I won't be interacting as much, and my co-hosts are not going to be interacting, so they can focus on their characters and have fun that way as well. So yeah, give us a physical description about Annalisa, because I think there's one specific fact in here that'll be hilarious once we get to Ordo.
All right. Annalisa stands at a proud 3 feet high. She has hazel eyes and bright orangey ginger hair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she wears a lot of fine clothes, not gaudy or overly ornate, but you can definitely tell the quality is there from her lifestyle.
All right, let's go on now to Wiggs, being played by Kelly. Kelly.
Hey, my name's Kelly. I've known Steph for a while now. I don't want to count that. He introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons when we were in college with like Pathfinders.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always fun to play. And my character is Wiggs. I'm a sorcerer and a changeling. So I'm not likely to be in my changeling form does look like gray blue skin, white hair, white eyes. She disguises herself as an elf, like a simple elf.
Just so you guys know, I will be translating plenty of what Kelly says during this game. But we're going to do our best to hear her out. Let's get to Ordo Broken Tusk, played by my friend Neville.
Hello, I'm Neville. Steph is also the person who got me into D&D, and actually the first campaign I ever played was with Steph and Kelly. So this is exciting. I will be playing the role of Ordo Broken Tusk. He is a Loxodon hermit, and he is of the class Tempest Cleric. He's a very simple man, simple pachyderm. He's 25, 7'6", and 340 pounds. So the normal stature for a humanoid.
This is why I love Annalisa and Ordo. We have large, and then we have small. All right, and Tucker, aka Noel, give us a little bit about yourselves.
Hey, my name's Noelle. I'll be playing Tuck Sparrows. He's a half-elf rogue. He's around 17 years old, but he looks a little bit younger than that. He has brown curly hair. It's not long, but it could definitely use a trim. He has hazel eyes, more on the green side, and he's between 5'6", 5'7", very lithe, very light on his feet and wiry.
All right. So basically, what we have is we have a cellular bar here of Annalisa being at the bottom and Ordo being at the top. But yeah, these are my players. And hey, guys, my name is Steph. I'm Botanist Cool, and I played literally everybody else. Hey there, Ethno. So just so you guys know, we have a few rules that I'm going to be implementing in this game. First and foremost, the chat will be up, of course. You are free to chat. Please do chat. Go for the emotes. Have fun, whatever. Please note that while I am DMing, I will be less likely to check on chat than I typically am when playing video games, and I'm also less likely to interact with the chat. I'm going to apologize, but that's kind of the nature of Dungeons & Dragons. And secondly, I'm going to ask you guys, once again, don't harass or try to backseat game my players. My co-hosts are awesome. They're taking their time out to have fun with me and you guys and put up a really excellent story. This is a collaborative storytelling effort, and more than anything, I want my co-hosts to be really enjoying this, because if they enjoy it, I'm going to enjoy it, and then you guys are going to enjoy it. And I will be your dungeon master. But yeah, that's kind of how it's going to be going. Those are my two big rules. Other than that, just have fun. I'm going to do my best to answer when I can. I might answer within the chat box instead of answering vocally. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I do hope you guys enjoy this. We have two other rules that are going to be kind of out of the normal from 5e. We have kind of a common sense background knowledge check, which essentially the players have to choose a topic and say, what do I know about this? And roll a dice. And I'll say, with your background, you kind of know this about it. And they'll also be getting a feat alongside every ability point up at 4th level, 6th level, 10th level, 14th, and 18th. Did I do the math right? No, I didn't.
No. 4, 9, 13, 17, right?
No, it's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20.
Oh, we're doing it. Oh, yeah. Dude, what are you talking about? God. No.
We're starting off strong.
Guys,
With our
we know
D&D
math
skills
good.
and math. Yep. Good thing you don't need math in D&D.
Good old trial and error.
Ooh.
All right. I've written out an intro that I'm going to start with. If you guys are ready to start, if you guys do want to say anything else, go for it first. But if you guys are ready to start, I have an intro I want to lead on with.
Take it away. I'm good.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm gonna apologize, guys. This is a pretty emotional moment for me, because once again, I've been DMing this world for 10 years, and a lot of these, actually, every single one of the people in this game right now has affected this world in some way. Sometimes people have affected it in multiple ways. Even if they've only been here for one game, they've affected this world in such a varying ways, and I've honestly brought the tears half the time when I think about this world, because of how much work everyone does in it, and it's just so fantastic. So forgive me if I do break down reading this intro a little bit. All right.
Aw.
Center myself. It has been a year and a half since Clem, the world's universal threat of 70 years, fell. Arguably, he was defeated by a brave woman who believed that more than anything else, anyone could be redeemed. Arguably, he was defeated by an energetic gnome making a bowl of turtle stew for her elven friend. Arguably, he lost because a party of adventurers reunited a mother and her son. Arguably, he was defeated by a brother-sister duo working with a giant flying jellyfish to warn the world. But in reality, the unintentional and accidental unification of the world against this evil's many apparitions assured his loss and the world's win. And since that win, the world has thrived. The rebellion in the Empire has slowly started gaining traction, freeing citizens through the continent. The Guild Nation of Sakito continues to grow, attempting to do good and rebuild the society, and the Oasis Republic has begun working hand in hand with the Guild Nation, rediscovering the ruined land that has long been abandoned and caring for the survivors of the Clemening. Our story starts in a small Oasis Republic town that lies in the fertile dome of the rivers Philanthropy and Perseverance, Vine Grove. The governors of this town, the Good Barrels, have long been providing refuge and work for the scattered survivors of the Oasis Republic, and in their own small way, helping the nation as a whole. Many see this town as a temporary respite and safe haven due to its proximity to the Templed Mountains and general seclusion. Our eyes now set upon new faces ready to take on the world ahead of them. In the Good Barrel estate, we see a young, spoiled heiress wandering the halls. She's already annoyed at the visitors her home will soon be hosting, but secretly looks forward to it. Just an hour's trek north, a young student and his teacher are walking to the village, on commission from the Good Barrels to learn more about that ruined obelisk. Just entering the city from the vineyard to the west, we see a wizened Luxodon, led by a grove keeper to the nearest inn. He was recently disillusioned by the greed of his former congregation and hopes to forge his own path with his own beliefs. Lastly, we see an elven woman wandering the streets of Vinegrove and seemingly checking behind her back every few moments. Every once in a while, she does stop at the town's broken monument, entranced by an unknown magic. This is where we begin, and like the Vinegrove's many grapevines in this story, the individuals, will all grow to be absolutely splendid. We start now with Tuck. Tuck, it's been a long trek, probably about. I didn't cry. Yeah, I'm really happy. We start with Tuck, who now for the past few days you have been on a small carriage led by 2 donkeys with your teacher, whose name Lanu Chillin. There we go. I almost forgot his name. Who has taken you in graciously several years ago, and he's bringing you to the town of Vinegrove, a town you have visited fairly frequently, probably about 2 to 3 times a year. You guys are on commission now by the Good Barrels to actually do some research on that obelisk that you've probably had your eye on a little bit. I guess, Tuck, what are you doing on this trip? Like, what is Tuck doing while he's in the caravan?
Tuck is bored out of his mind. He is sprawled out in his seat, trying to bite his tongue and not ask, "Are we there yet?" for the 50th time on this trip. And he's going to look around at the road or the area that they're traveling in and try to see if he sees anything interesting on the way there.
Sure, give me a little perception roll.
That is a 6.
Tuck, as you kind of look around, you are actually so bored that when you try to look around, your eyes kind of go hazy. And next to you, the old wizened turtle, who is your teacher, Lanu Chillin, kind of looks down at you and he goes, Tucker, it seems you are still waiting to get to the city. You're very impatient still.
I mean, there's not anything to really do here.
He kind of brings up his turtle hands and strokes his turtle chin, and he goes, I think it is time you learn how to drive the cart. And he doesn't even stop the cart. He just hands you the reins. Your teacher has been known to be a little bit unorthodox with his methodologies, obviously. And at this time, in teaching you how to drive this cart, he's obviously just handing you the reins to see what you do. At the moment, the road seems clear to you, but what do you do, Tuck?
I'm going to take the reins.
Yeah.
And is the road straight?
The road is relatively straight. As you actually can, as you might be able to see on the stream, for everyone who doesn't know, I gave a regional map. They're traveling along that red dotted path, as well as a map of the city of the small hamlet of Vinegrove as well. But yeah, it is relatively straight and smooth. You guys had just passed the bridge not too long ago, which was objectively probably the hardest part to get through. But you guys are on a straight and smooth road down to Vinegrove, yes.
I'm going to take the reins and I'm going to look at my teacher and I'm going to look at the donkeys and I'm going to try and make it go faster.
Can you give me an animal roll, please?
That's a 13.
Okay. As you proceed to powers, as you snap on the reins, and the donkeys get that little thing. One of the donkeys just kind of looks at you like, "What the hell, man?" But like they start trotting a little bit faster. You do feel that it goes. It's not as smooth now. The carriage is definitely a little bumpier now with the unsmooth and paved road. The unsmoothed road that has long since deteriorated over time. But you are moving a little bit faster now. And your teacher kind of looks down at you and he goes, I see you've made your priorities very clear. There is just one issue, though, he goes.
What's that, Professor?
He kind of starts pointing around the area a little bit, and you kind of look where he starts pointing. And you see something you've never seen before during your trips to Vine Grove. You've come here once again, like once every two times a year. Vine Grove seems to have a couple of slimes actually on the outskirts of it, which is kind of a little weird. And as you kind of just go through, the donkeys just kind of like harmlessly squash them essentially. And he goes, "You know you're cleaning that up later, right?"
What? Are you kidding me? Come on, like, I didn't put them there. They got in the way.
He smiles and he goes, "Don't worry, I have the proper rags for you." It kind of gives you a pat on the back. And you guys make your way closer to the city.
Tucker was really happy for a second, but now he's totally deflated.
Let's go now to our good old friend Ordo Broken Tusk.
Hello.
Ordo, you start walking in through the west side of the village where the groves are, with a grove tender who's very kind and talkative. He does seem to be a little bit more, shall we say, less formal. He seems to have almost no qualms of just talking straight with you. And he kind of goes, "Well, yeah, here's the thing. We're gonna get you right now to your to the inn, and it's gonna be nice and good." He kind of like brings you close. He's like, "Come here, real quick, yeah."
Yeah. What's up?
You see, there's this woman that's been walking around recently. Kind of weird elven woman. It ain't that she's an elf or nothing, but like, kind of walking around all paranoid like. So like, you might want to stay away clear. We don't know if she's a beggar or something. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the community. We don't know if she's a beggar or nothing, so you might just want to keep your eyes out. He kind of does the whole scanning the horizon gesture, like, and he, the worst part is it's still technically an audio medium. He kind of just looks around, and he goes, "Just keep your eyes out."
Oh, no worries. I've seen plenty of weird things in my travels. I can handle a beggar or two.
He goes, "Oh, that's pretty all good. So we'll leave you here at the inn, and we'll have you all sorted out. Do you want that special fancy inn you got there, or do you want to go something kind of a little less formal?"
Simple is fine with me. Yes. I will say I've noticed your town here seems a little how should I put it? Short. This is a halfling village, I believe.
The man you're talking to actually is a human, but he goes, "Oh yeah, you are completely correct. The good barrels of the people who own this thing, them governors and whatnot. You have the good barrels kind of just governing over us, and you have a lot of them people that live here year round. They all be halflings. They're fantastic folk, big old community. They have potlucks all the time. But you see, the kind of like higher folk from other towns, seasonal. In the winter, the grapes don't grow well, so you have here these people just coming in every month or so, and honestly, I'm planning on leaving in a month just to get home, see my family, come back a month after that.
All right then.
So basically what you've learned is that they have kind of like a little bit of a rotating staff, essentially, which makes up a good portion of the population. Neville, you are brought forth to basically the lower road on Vine Grove, being brought towards the right. On the left-hand side in the far distance, through an alleyway, you can see the Good Barrel Estate. But on the right, you see a very massive 3-story tall inn. And the inn, as you kind of go over to it, is called, let me see, there we go. It's called the Grooved Grape. Obviously, things seem here to be very grape-based. The Grooved Grape is a specialized inn that's typical, and he kind of tells you, yeah, the Grooved Grape, I live here too, it's got good places, nice, simple accommodations for all them workers. All us workers, let me say it like that. It ain't much for adventuring types. The adventure types go to the other place down there, all posh and whatnot. But, saving a buck, get to have a meal with friends, that's all the good shit,
Sounds wonderful. Sounds absolutely wonderful.
He goes, well, I got to head on back. Gives you a pat on the back, Ordo. And he goes, I got some work to do. But whatever you're doing, just keep an eye out.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine, tiny human.
Lou Craven, thank you very much for the subscription. And after that, he kind of leaves you off. He makes a gesture, just like, keep an eye out.
Did you just do it?
Yeah, I did just do it. For everyone watching, I just did the whole thing. Ordo, as you enter the inn, you find their accommodations to be very simple and effective. And in fact, the stays are only a couple of copper a night, which are extremely cheap. And you easily pay with the money, and you're able to get yourself a room. Let's skip over now to Wiggs. Wiggs, you have been in this town for perhaps a couple weeks now. The glamour and the population of the Oasis Republic capital has been a little too much for you as of late. You've been a little scared to see what's kind of going around. So you've actually come down here on your own and felt, I wouldn't say at peace, but this place feels interesting to you. You have definitely been enjoying it a little bit more than the capital, primarily because of this obelisk in the middle of the town. The obelisk used to stand probably at what you're guessing 20, 30 feet tall, but has now been struck down and in multiple pieces. You see that the obelisk no longer stands as it used to, but you do see a lot of runes on it. Every once in a while, you just kind of stop at it, look at it, and are like, that is an obelisk, and kind of wander on off, but you're still looking behind your back all the time. What are you doing on this fine day?
I would like to go. I would assume I've been staying at the inn the entire time I've been here with my gold.
So yeah, have you been staying at the cheap one, the Grooved Grape, or would you have been staying elsewhere?
Is there any more like secluded ones, or is the Groove Grape kind of it?
There are. Here's what I'll say. The Grooved Grape is kind of the more communal one. It is extremely cheap, but there is also the Wine's Cask, which is a popular tavern that has a few rooms on the second floor, and these rooms are a lot more spacious. While it is not per se less populous, it does give you more space to yourself.
I would say I'd be doing the cheaper one.
All right, so you're in this cheaper one. Let's just do this and let's just get you guys together immediately. As you start coming back to your inn, you see something that you're very not used to. You see a large 7-foot man, kind of like scrunching a tall 7-foot Loxodon, kind of crouching down and kind of like, oh, gotta make sure I don't bump my head on the roof here, or on the doorway here. Like, you can see his ears kind of like barely touch the top of the roof, but there's this massive 7-foot tall dude just kind of like in front of you and kind of in your way as you're trying to get back into your inn and back into your room. What do you do?
I'm gonna stealthily slide by him.
Give me a stealth roll, and Neville, please tell me what your passive perception is, which should be a 10 plus your wisdom modifier. Unless you have proficiency, in which case add that too.
I got a 13.
Oh boy.
Baby, that is a 14.
Damn it.
Wiggs, your concept of stealthy was putting your hand like on his leg, kind of like pushing him a little bit, but not too hard, and trying to like squish by him, kind of like sidle through. Um, Ordo, you feel this person just kind of like touching your leg and pushing you a little bit as you're kind of trying to get through this doorway. What do you do, Ordo?
Well, hello there, little one. He refers to everyone as little one.
Because he's 7 feet tall!
I'm only 5'11", so I'm definitely much shorter.
Go on, sorry.
What are you doing?
I'm going in the inn.
All right, I mean, be my guest. I apologize if I was in your way. I meant no disrespect.
No, it's good. I just avoid people. So I was just walking on by.
Is it because of my size?
No, I just avoid people.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not a. When you say people, do you mean humans? Because I don't know if you've noticed, but I am not a human. I am a loxodon.
I've definitely noticed.
Well,
By
that's good.
people, I mean humanoid species.
Oh, all right. I apologize. I'm not used to your folk.
Where are you from?
Ordo, you would have probably been born in probably in the northeastern area of the Guild Nation. You could say that you probably grew up in the Guild. In the Republic capital.
Right.
I know we haven't touched thoroughly on your backstory, but like,
Yeah,
that's definitely like
spoilers.
an option of yours. But yeah.
I come from the Republic City.
The Republic capital.
That's Republic City was Korra.
You're the Avatar.
Been watching what? Little one. I come from the Republic capital up north.
All right. And what brings you here?
I'm on a spiritual journey of sorts.
Have you seen this stone in the center of the city?
I have not. In fact, I just arrived to this city. What is this stone you speak of?
You just have to go see it.
Well, I mean, would you take me there?
Yeah, I can take you there.
Wow. Lead the way, little one.
I'd rather you walk in front of me.
Well, how will I? You folk are silly folk. No, I don't claim to be a smart man. Well, a smart elephant, but you see,
All right. I'll
can't
tell you where to turn.
Okay, all right. I will. I guess I will lead the way to the place of which I do not know.
Kelly, how are you directing him?
With the saddle and reins.
I'm assuming I could kind of like look around him, like
Yeah.
on his left side and right side, and I could tell him where to turn and where to like just keep going straight.
Sure. Okay. So it's not much longer later because it is pretty close. The for those who don't know, the obelisk is just in front of the Good Barrel Estate, that small little circular thing on the map. As you start leading, Ordo's kind of just like, where are we going? And you're just like, left, right, that kind of deal. It's like directly in front of you.
And every time she yells, like Ordo just kind of like jumps a little bit, like catches him off guard.
The earth shakes. No,
I'm somehow intimidating you.
It's like how elephants are scared of mice. I love it. Yeah, so it's not much longer later that through these little shall I say directions given to you from behind, you get a general direction of where you're going, and you eventually do see this large obelisk. And once again, it seems to have been 20 to 30 feet tall at one time, carved with druidic runes, but in some time past, it seems to have fallen down, and it seems to have been fallen down for quite a while, as it is currently covered in moss. The crumbles below seem to have not been moved, but rather been memorialized. As you kind of look around, you see there is a small wooden fence that kind of protects this area to make sure that nobody gets there and hurts themselves, first and foremost, but secondly, to make sure that this area is not touched, as it seems to be a relative place of reverence of sorts. You see people kind of look by it, and some of the farmers specifically thank them. While the halflings kind of just give it like a general nod to it, kind of thing. It seems to be of some sort of reverence to it. But that is what you see. And now on your right, you have a clear view of the Grove Barrel estate, and on the left, you have a view of the rest of town around the small little plaza. Wiggs, you are with him, checking behind your back as you're behind his back. What do you guys do?
So I don't know. What do I do?
Do you know anything about the stone?
I'm sorry?
Do you know anything about the stone?
I do not. No.
Okay, I'm gonna walk up and hug the fence that's protecting the stone.
Yeah.
Ordo also follows and tries to hug the fence.
You guys put your arms around one of the poles of the fence, and like
Yes.
maybe you haven't been hugged in a while, but it feels good.
Yes. This is what I wanted.
Yeah, it feels good. You're hugging a piece of wood, but every once in a while you do that. This will be fun. All right, let's skip this one real quick. Annalisa, your parents a couple of days ago told you something that you're both dreading and possibly secretly excited about just a little bit. You're having a visitor coming towards the estate soon, probably for the next few days. Some people you know by the name of Lanu Chillin and Tucker Sparrows. They have visited a few times before, but you now are kind of in your manner doing whatever it is you do. What are you doing, Annalisa?
Annalisa she's sort of pacing back and forth, kind of like with that energy, and she's sort of like looking at the door, and she's just like, they're taking forever. Leave it to that professor to take his time, honestly. And she just sort of is like muttering to herself, like crossing her arms, like, I can't believe they're wasting our time. But not leaving that door, not doing anything else, kind of like peeking out, like, are they here yet? And then when they're not here, huffing and being like,
This is perfect. As you kind of peek out of the door one time, you see that strange elven woman who you've seen a few times before. She just kind of wanders the town, and while your father and mother have not said anything bad about her, obviously some of the townsfolk have been like, oh, she must be a beggar. Like, what's happening here? But you also see this strange woman, and you see a Luxodon who you've never seen before, who towers you, to the best of your knowledge. And they're hugging the wooden fence that protects your family's obelisk. What do you do?
She sees that, and just this, like, confused, mildly appalled expression just crosses her face, kind of just like, what am I looking at?
Ordo starts kind of like nuzzling, like rubbing his head against it, almost like a cat would lovingly.
I will say this: it's like at a fence. Let me paint you a picture. It's a fence that's essentially the size of like what a normal fence would be for a human, but for a halfling. So it's probably like half the size. I thought maybe a little larger than like a halfling's midsection. Are you bending down to rub your face on this fence?
Ooh, I didn't think about this part.
Or are you on your knees? That's a good question.
Yeah, I'd say Ordo has knelt down because he realizes that he might fall over the fence otherwise.
You've knelt down and you're hugging. So you see once again this very odd scene. But yeah, what does Annalisa do besides look appalled?
She, again, it's like appalled and like more confusion.
Okay.
And then like after a moment of processing this, she probably dashes out.
Mm-hmm.
Because either A, these are snoopers who do not belong here, or B, this is part of the professor's group and she needs to find out what the hell is going on. Either way.
All right. And Lisa, you rush out of the doorway to confront these two. It's not much longer later that you are just a few feet behind them as you see this Luxodon man snuggling the post and this elven woman just hugging it gingerly. What do you do?
Ahem.
I look over my shoulder. Can I help you?
Aren't you?
What are you doing?
We are hugging the fence. Can't you see?
All right, let me rephrase. Ahem. Why are you doing that?
Because it's
You know.
magic.
Oh, is that why we're doing this? I just saw you hug the fence, and I assume this is what the people here do. Little one, yes, you little one.
Excuse me?
Oh god.
You, what did you do? Why are you asking for Are you trying to get by? Is
Are
that why
you
you're saying
trying
excuse
to
me?
insult me?
Whoa, me? Insult? What? How am I insulting you?
You made fun of my height.
Made fun? What is this? No, you were simply a smaller stature.
She kind of like crosses her arms, is like, "How dare you?"
I'm sorry. I just thought of Michelle Tanner from Full House.
It's been so long since I saw Full House, I don't even know the reference.
How
You're too
wooed?
young.
That's
I promise I meant no insulting.
no
No
disrespect.
harm. No disrespect. There we go. I meant no disrespect, little. I mean, I'm sorry. What is your name?
I am Lady Annalisa Goodbarrel. If that is too much for you, you may call me Lady Goodbarrel.
Oh, well, hello, Lady Goodbarrel. I am Ordo Brokentusk.
You kind of, at this point, you kind of hear some walking from behind Annabelle and Lisa, and I was missing Barrel and like Anna Lisa there, like Anna Barrel for a second. You kind of hear some walking behind Annalisa, and you hear someone go. Oh, sorry. You're gonna have to forgive me for my daughter's rude introduction. And she kind of gives a like a little clap on the back of Annalisa's back, and she goes, "She is gonna be referred to as Lady Annalisa. I am the current Lady Goodbarrel, but you can simply call me Seraphina Goodbarrel, or Seraphina if you'd like." And she kind of extends her hand to the Luxodon. Do you shake?
Absolutely.
And then she
I
extends.
try to be gentle.
Yeah. And then she
I
extends her hand to Wiggs. Wiggs, do you shake it?
No.
She looks a little confused, but she's okay with it. Everyone has their own ways. And she goes, "I'm hoping she didn't cause you too much issues, did she?"
No issues at all. Absolutely
No
not.
issues.
We were just simply hugging the fence, for it is magic.
At this point, Annalisa kind of like gestures to her mom, is like, "I found them doing some rather suspicious behavior, don't you think?"
Seraphina kind of nods. She goes, "Well, I do. Let me correct this. It seems to be there's some misunderstanding. The obelisk inside the fence is what used to be magical. The fence itself is just wood."
Oh, then why were we hugging the fence?
Because we can't get to the obelisk.
Huh? You know, your folk. You are a very strange kind here.
She
The only thing strange here is you two.
Seraphina kind of puts her hand on Annalisa's shoulder to just like, you know, tone it down a little bit. We are still, she doesn't say anything, but it's the message of like, tone it down. Remember, we are representing our city. Kind of deal.
Annalisa reluctantly simmers down.
And she goes, well, customs always change, and they're quite different for different folk. So I do welcome you to the town. I don't believe hugging the wood would do anything special to you, and I don't believe the obelisk would either. It broke 70 plus years ago, so I don't think there's any magic left inside of it.
Oh, that is quite a shame.
She says, yes, we are actually having some people do some research on it very soon, though, but she kind of looks at your garments, and she sees specifically that Luxton has a what is your holy symbol? Is it a necklace, a ring? What is it?
Necklace.
She kind of sees you have a necklace, and she goes, "Oh, are you a cleric?"
I am indeed.
Oh, this is fantastic. Actually, we have never had anyone of the divine magics actually investigate the obelisk. It might be beneficial if you do. I think this would be a good addition to who we've already hired to do some investigation. And she kind of looks at Wiggs and she's like, is the elven woman with you as well?
She was simply here when I arrived.
Okay, so I don't know if she kind of looks at you and she goes, you say this has magical power? She's asking you.
Yes, I sent something from the center of the stone, or from somewhere in the stone.
She goes, that's a very interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, well, if you would both like, we'll be having a dinner at my manor around in the evening time, probably around 6 o'clock. If you'd like to join us, perhaps I could hire the both of you to aid in some investigation work I have with the obelisk going on later on. Would that be acceptable?
I would love to, but I need no payment, ma'am.
She kind of looks very confused at that exact statement. And at that point, she does look at Annalisa like, okay, I get what you're saying. And she kind of goes, think about it as gratitude. This is my form of showing gratitude.
Well, if you insist. You are a strange folk here.
And she goes, well, we're going to be headed back in. We're waiting for a professor ourselves. Just make sure to be here around 6 o'clock.
Absolutely.
Will do.
And she goes, oh, and if you do want to know the culture, some people just give a simple nod or prayer to the obelisk rather than hugging the fence. She kind of goes like, just so you know. And then she walks back into the manor. And she goes, Annalisa, make sure to be here before 5. She's kind of giving you room to do what you want, Annalisa.
Right. Annalisa nods and goes, yes, mother. And then she
that is your mother.
Annalisa kind of looks at her and is like, well, yes, can't you see the family resemblance?
There is quite a family resemblance, and she did introduce herself by saying, I'm sorry if my daughter caused you any trouble.
I apologize. I thought you were talking about this one, and I point over to Wiggs.
Annalisa looks. I'm sure you can imagine how she looks. I won't attempt to describe it.
She looks aghast.
Not even aghast, just like whatever the physical manifestation of is. That's how she appears.
Order said all short people look the same.
No, everybody shorter than me looks the same.
Even when there's 2 feet of difference between them, easily.
I'm gonna be right back. I need to do my AC real quick. I'll be right back. 1 second.
Got it. When you're as large as I am, everybody looks equally small. All right.
Has Ordo stood up yet?
No.
Yeah,
Ordo has been kneeling this whole time.
yeah. I think Annalisa does not quite get just how tall he is yet.
Yeah, that I think that's the best part. The moment, the moment Ordo stands up, Annalisa is going to blow a casket. Well, let's switch over real quick back to our friend Tucker. Tucker, you guys have just arrived through the north entrance of Vine Grove not too long ago. And 1 second. All right, cool. You guys have just arrived through the north end of Vine Grove not too long ago, and as you walk in through the city, you see it is still pretty bustling. The one thing Lanu has been training you right now, kind of using this moment to kind of train your perception. He's been asking you to keep a track of how many slimes there were on the road. I'm gonna need you to roll me a perception roll to see if you know how many slimes there were passing on the road.
All right. Nat 20.
Oh shit! Okay. First nat 20.
It's gonna be
Yay!
a good game.
First slime counting.
Your teacher is definitely a bit of a stickler compared to you, but like he has his good moments that you do kind of want to impress him sometimes. So you do actually take the effort to really start training perception every time you walk. You actually even found this to be a little bit of a not therapeutic, but almost like a
Meditative.
yeah, in a way. That way you kind of focus on that and not just the time that's like, oh, we're not in the town yet. Oh my god.
He gave him a task.
Yeah, you were given a task, and you counted exactly, not including the ones you'd run over to start with, 12 slimes.
How big are they and what color?
So each of the slimes are a deep purple color, and they tend to range from the size of what we would know as a some of them, one of them like was the size of a baseball, and that one was really hard to find, but you found that. But most of them are around the size of like a basketball, soccer ball kind of deal.
Tucker is going to turn to his teacher, and he's going to say, "Why are there so many?"
You cut out there.
Oh, he's going to turn to professor, and he's going to say, "So why are these slime here anyway?"
He kind of looks at you and he goes, "That's the question, isn't it?" He obviously seems not to know as well, and he goes, "I think this could certainly be a part of our research. How about tomorrow? You spend the day doing some field research for me. Go out, see how many slimes there are in general per field or something like that, and see where they congregate. Perhaps you could bring the nice. No. I don't want to speak ill, but perhaps you could bring the daughter of the Good Barrels with you. She seems to be well knowledgeable about the area, and while it might be a little difficult, I think she'll be able to help you out."
But Professor, I thought we were here to look at the obelisk. I want to study it with you, not be in the forest looking at slime.
He kind of gives a smile and he goes, see the big picture. Who's to say the obelisk has nothing to do with the slimes? Or, who's to say the slimes aren't even a bigger mystery? But if you're not up for the task, I understand.
Tucker crosses his arms and that's not what I said. And he immediately, like, his eyes lit up at the thought of a bigger mystery.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to add on, so I have to bring Annalise with me.
I would recommend it, since she knows the area better than either of us do. I will I can assure you, if I find any big discoveries of the obelisk, I will include you. But it's best to split up two great minds. So try to bring her along, see if she could give you some useful advice and locations, and perhaps you will discover something a lot more interesting.
I mean, no offense, Professor, but I don't think that she's ever even left her house, much less, explored the forest.
Then this will be a good experience for her. And as you kind of go through the northern entrance, you see that the slimes have kind of thinned out the closer you've gotten to town. It looks like they haven't been in town per se. But it's not much longer later that you end up stopping at the place you usually stop at when you visit, which is, let me get out the notes again, because I always forget to have the notes out. Or I'll close it and then the notes will be gone. The Wine's Cask, which is the tavern that you're typically set up at by the Good Barrels. The Lanu Chillin parks the cart and gives the reins of the donkey to a halfling who leads him to a stable to be well taken care of. He thanks him and he goes, "We'll have dinner with the Good Barrels in probably an hour. I will sign us in. If you would like to join me, you're free to join me, or if you'd like, you can explore the town again."
I think I'm going to stretch my legs, Professor. I've been sitting way too long.
He goes, "I know the feeling." And he kind of gives you the gesture to go on out, explore the area. It's about 5 p.m. at this time. Annalisa, you have turned in, as your mother had requested. And at this point in time, I guess my question would be, Wiggs and Ordo, where are you two at? And Tucker, what is your plan for your little afternoon out in the city?
Tucker is going to go look at the obelisk.
Wiggs, Ordo, what are you guys doing? It's probably been at max 30, 40 minutes since the last time we've checked in on you.
I guess I guess Ordo would go try to learn more about the culture of the town after Mrs. Goodbarrel, because of her name, suggested so, or said we were free to do so.
Yeah. Wiggs?
I'm gonna follow Ordo and study the species.
Give me a perception roll, Tucker.
22.
Yeah, you're fine. Okay. As you walk around, Tucker, you stare at the obelisk for a little bit. As interesting as it is, even you sometimes feel like just looking at a big old runic carved stone is maybe a little boring, but like you're trying to find something interesting about it, obviously. But as you kind of look to your right and your left, you immediately find interest in what seems to be a 7'6" Luxodon man, who you've never seen a Luxodon in this area because typically the people are short. And behind him, a elf who seems to be walking around town and talking to halflings all around. What do you do?
Tucker's eyes are going to get super, super huge as he stares at this Luxon in absolute awe. And he's going to want to go into stealth mode and start stalking them to see what they do.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll. I'm going to have Ordo, you can use your passive perception, which is 14, but Kelly, because you're always looking behind your back, Wiggs will get a normal perception roll.
Oh, that's really bad. Tucker got a 9.
I got a 14.
Yeah, as you guys walk around, first person to notice, it's actually not hard to notice. Tucker immediately followed you, and in his excitement, kind of like tripped over a bucket or something. Like got his foot stuck in a bucket, like comedically trying to get it off for a second, and then gets back in the corner. He yells "shit," and And you two both kind of look at the way, and you see Tucker halfway through getting the bucket off his foot, just kind of like looking at you guys, but also looking at the bucket. Ordo, Wiggs?
My, another strange little one. This town is full of just strange things.
Upon hearing that, Tucker looks at him and goes, "You're the strange one, mister. You're a big strange one."
I'm of normal stature.
I don't mean to break the disillusionment, but the delusion, but look around you. You're the biggest guy here.
Yeah, I am in a town of strange little people.
Tucker, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Tucker, now that his cover has been blown, he's going to approach Ordor and start like looking all around him, looking at his clothes in like absolute awe. And when he sees his holy symbol, does Tucker recognize it?
Have you chosen a goddess or god?
Me or Tucker?
You Ordo.
I hate to break it. I don't remember the ones that we talked about. I think the one that I think that I had, the monastery that I had left.
Yeah.
Was about the hardworking one.
Sure, the goddess of labor, Zephyra.
Zephyra. That's right. Yeah, Zephyra.
Let me put it like this. Give me a religion roll, Tuck.
Religion.
Yeah, religion.
6.
Religion.
You haven't. The most of the people that you're aware of are the followers of Ina, who tend to be funny enough, the wine bearer goddess of healing. But Ordo's wearing one that you're just not quite familiar with. You've probably seen it. Like you can kind of think like, pretty sure she's a goddess, but that's really about all you got.
Tucker's gonna look at that and go, "So you're a man of the cloth, huh?"
Well, Ordo looks down at his chainmail and goes, "Not particularly. No."
That's a fair point.
Tucker is gonna roll his eyes and he's going to say, "I mean that you follow a religion."
Oh, I used to be. Yes, I used
to be. You're still wearing your holy symbol.
Well, I understand how it might cause confusion. Yes. And just ends it right there. Does not elaborate at all. Just refuses to acknowledge that they're digging for more information.
Wiggs is Wiggs reacting to this half elf bothering those two, or is Wiggs just behind Ordo at this point?
I mean, I'm still behind Orador, but because I noticed what she said or what he said, it's Tucker, right?
Yes.
All right. I paid attention to Ordor's holy symbol, and I want to know if I recognize it.
Give me a religion roll.
19.
Yes, you are aware this is the goddess Zephyra, the goddess of labor. I will say this. You, in your times researching the magics way back in the day, you've read a lot more about her and about her origins. Something about starting off as a minor god. But other than that, you're not 100% sure. It's been a while since you've really studied religion. You're more of an arcana person from what I could tell. But you did learn that, yeah, she was a person who she was a goddess of labor, who probably started as a minor god believed by a small group of farmers who ended up gaining traction, is what you know. And became one of these big celestial gods, to the best of your knowledge. But yeah, that's what you know.
All right, I'm just kind of paying attention to the conversation because I recognize that Tucker isn't paying any attention to me, and he's focused on a giant person.
Is Wiggs like specifically trying to hide?
No, I'm just kind of behind him.
All right. As
Hidden
he's
in plain
talking,
sight kind of deal, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Can Tuck notice her?
Tuck,
Or...
you did notice her beyond. You did notice her walking with the Luxodon before. What you might want to take into consideration is that does Tuck pay attention to her versus the Luxodon? Because now the Luxodon's leaving like these breadcrumbs that Tuck might be. Really
Yeah,
interested
I
in.
think that he's going to be paying more attention to him. So he's going to keep talking to Ordo, and he's going to say, so what brings you here? You a big wine fan?
I partake occasionally, but I am simply on my own journey and happen to pass by this village on my travels.
Like a pilgrimage?
Sort of, yes, actually. I wish to find myself again. And as he says it, Ordo just like looks off in the distance like it's a dramatic cutaway from a movie.
He looks into the middle distance.
Tucker's gonna look at him and say, well, I gotta tell you, buddy, you're not that hard to spot.
Oh,
Is it because of my large stature? You see, he just does not register jokes. Like he's just right over his head, which is a very large. Like that is a massive height to get over, but jokes still fly over his head.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, you're real big, and you've got the nose, the ears. It's really cool.
Is there something wrong with my nose and my ears?
No, it's amazing. Can you like grab stuff with it?
Not with my ears. That would be ridiculous. But with my nose, I guess I can grab things with my nose, as you say. Yes.
That's really cool. That must come really handy.
Yes, it's quite useful.
Oh god, the dad jokes are with fucking Tucker. Jesus Christ.
I like you. My name's Tuck, by the way.
Well, hello, Tuck. I am Ordo Broken Tusk. And then once again looks off in the distance.
Are his tusks broken?
No.
Hmm.
No, his tusks are fully intact.
Your tusks look fine to me.
Oh, well, yes. Why would what would be wrong with my tusks?
Well, they're called Ordo Broken Tusk. Is that just a
That's my name, yes.
family name?
Yeah. That's my family name. Though I haven't seen them in 24 years.
Oh. How old are you?
25.
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining every time you say something, you're looking off into the middle distance.
I'm doing that in real life too. That's
All right, sorry. Go on.
That sucks, man. That sucks. I haven't seen my mom in a while too. Do you even remember them?
Oh, honestly, I do not.
Huh.
Though it doesn't bother me a whole lot now. Honestly, I've kind of grown to not worry about my old family. Although I don't really know what happened to them.
Well, if you broke away from your religion or whatever, I guess you don't really have much to do with your new family either.
Oh, they're definitely not my family. And as he says that, he just stares Tucker right in the eyes. Just the most menacing look he's given. I'll roll an intimidation check. I don't care. Just the most menacing look you've seen from this completely peaceful
Wait,
elephant.
Did you say you're rolling intimidation?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I am.
Okay, go for it.
Do I roll anything against that?
It would be insight, yes.
All right.
Oh God. Good golly. 18.
I got a nat one.
Let me put it like this. I think Tucker, for the first time, recognizes he probably shouldn't say anything in return. Like, you've definitely stepped on a sour spot. And while he's not, like, aggressive against you, obviously, it's definitely more along the lines of, like, kid, shut up for a bit kind of deal. You know what I'm saying?
Tuck promptly shuts up and he breaks eye contact and looks away a little awkwardly, not really knowing what to say.
And after Order just continues to stare at Tuck for another like 10 seconds, she goes, "So what brings you here, you little one?" And just like back to his jovial self.
Tuck looks back at him, relieved that he seems back to his more friendly nature, and he's gonna say, I'm here with my mentor, I guess. We're here researching the obelisk in the center of town.
Oh, the one with the very huggable fence?
Can't say I ever tried hugging a fence, but I climbed plenty of them.
You should. It was very lovely. It was
What
a very
is your
lovely experience.
teacher's name?
At this point, you recognize there's actually another person here.
He looks at Wiggs a little startled and is just like, "Oh, you're kind of shy, aren't you?"
Sure.
His name is wait, where's my notes? Lanu Chillin.
You guys see we're super prepared for this.
I just call him.
Do I
Professor O.
recognize that name?
That's actually a good question. Give me a history roll. Let's see if you know. Let's see if you can figure that out.
13.
You probably heard it. You spent your time around the academia within the Republic capital before. They're a little pompous to you, probably, but in all reality, you have spent your time with them every once in a while just to kind of get a grasp of what the research is. You yourself were formerly a researcher, so like, while you don't research as intently or as formally as you used to, you've done some to keep in the loop. You've heard the name around here and there.
Okay, so you're from the Republic.
Yeah? I mean, I'm kind of from all over, but technically speaking, yeah.
As you guys have this conversation, I think we're going to switch off real quick. You guys find out that essentially, not much longer, you guys do find out you kind of work at the same goal short term. The conversation comes out that you will be both attending this dinner soon. But I kind of do want to skip to Annalisa for a bit. Show Annalisa some love real quick. Annalisa, you had just walked into your house and your mother and father have called you to prepare and get everything going. And over the past year and a half, they have been trying to get you more accustomed to chores, shall we say. They never made you have to do chores before the defeat of Clem, but this is kind of a new thing. They actually asked you to set the table. Let's take a roleplay that out real quick. Serafina comes up to you and she goes, Annalisa, hun, we're going to be having guests here soon. I know you still have to get dressed and all that stuff, but would you mind setting the table for me?
Setting the table?
Yes, hon. We've talked about it last week, how to set the table. You know, you put the dinner plate down, then you put the soup plate down, then you put 2 forks on the right, 2 forks on the left, and 2 knives on top. Fuck, how did that go, actually? Put 2 forks on the right, 2 knives on the left, and 2 spoons on top. You know the formal placement?
Yes, I know the placement. It's just, never mind. Yes, of course. I shall set the table perfectly.
Let's give you a roll to see how perfectly you set this up. What are the skills? Again, I don't have a character sheet open up in front of me. What are the skills you could have?
I assume it's not acrobatic.
No, it's not acrobatics.
Performance?
Performance.
Oh, actually, you are trying to set things up. Setting a table could be a piece of art. Give me a performance roll, yeah.
Or deception.
Or deception.
Sleight
Alright,
of hand.
whatever. It has the same modifier. She has 0 charisma, so
Oh, fantastic.
Surprise, so does Ordo.
that is a 10.
So, you see, once again, you kind of see, what you see is very interesting, is like, you see the workers in your manor actually come bring you a rolling tray with the stuff on top of it, which is like, they're not asking you to go to the kitchen, like, they've presented you with a rolling cart with everything on there. What does Annalisa do?
Annalisa takes it and she turns around and sort of with one hand behind her, she pulls it over to the table. She kind of like struts on over.
Yeah. Go on.
And I feel like she knows where things go. Like I feel like she knows where things go because she definitely complains about it when they're not proper. So I think that she, you know, like she knows, all right, the soup bowl goes here, the fork goes here, and
Sure.
everything like that.
But
I feel like she's not particularly careful when placing them down, like to make sure they're neat, even though she would complain about it if it was anyone else.
Specifically, yours and your parents are pretty darn neat. Everyone else is a little like the spacing's not perfect, obviously. The tablecloth could be better. Like when you put down we put down Tucker's plate specifically, it kind of brought the tablecloth a little bit. Now there's like one of those little annoying wedges in the tablecloth. You know what I'm talking about? And you just kind of plop the forks over it, like, whoosh, kind of deal. In general, this is definitely not a passable table for you, but you have set the table properly. And it's only about 30 minutes until everyone else starts getting here. Are you already gussied up, or are you gonna go gussy up a little bit more real quick?
I think she's gonna like stash the cart in like the corner of the room or wherever, and then go gussy up a little bit. Like I don't feel like her gussied up is even that gussied up, but you know, she's gonna go make sure her hair's as good as it was this morning. Her dress isn't out of place.
Sure.
Because obviously she was already wearing a very nice dress, and it's good enough for any of them. So.
You go put on the dress. Oh, sorry. You go make sure your dress is fine. You fix your hair up to what it was this morning, and in general, you are just about ready for everything. And it's not much longer later that you hear a small bell ringing. As you hear the bell ringing, you hurry your way down towards the room, and as you kind of look at the table, one thing you've noticed is that the table has been fixed, shall we say? The table definitely does not look exactly as you left it. There's definitely like the corners are tucked in kind of deal. That little notch is gone kind of deal. After you've set this up, and you take your seat, and Serafina and your father Perrin take their seats, and at this point, you guys are just waiting. Actually, no, it's not quite proper. You kind of take your seat as Perrin and Serafina kind of come by, and they're like, all right, we'll be right back. We're just going to bring them in. Just make sure you're standing up when they're back in. Show respect. And not too much longer later, they bring in the rest of everybody else. Here's the good news specifically for Ordo. This place has a little bit more room. Your ears are not scraping off the roofs the entire time, and you could comfortably walk in here without bending at least until you get to the door frame.
Gotcha.
You guys end up knocking up on the door eventually. Lanu Chillin has joined you at this point. Lanu seems to have been particularly interested in you as well, Ordo. You're both animal-like species, and he seems to have been interested in you. And he greeted you as a oh, hello there. It is very rare to see a Luxodon around here.
Well, I should say the same about a turtle.
He gives a smile and he goes, "Indeed, it seems we are headed towards the same location."
I will take your word for it.
He goes, "Well, we are both walking to the manor in the middle of the town, so."
I guess that is correct, yes.
He kind of has a laugh, and he goes, "Well, in case you haven't met him yet, this is my young pupil, Tucker."
Yes, we've met. We've met.
Yeah, and Tucker's going to look at Lanu and give a smile, like, isn't this guy great?
he gives a smile back. He's obviously very interested as well. And he goes, "I don't think I know your name, miss. What is your name?" He points to Wiggs.
My name is Wix.
"Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you." And you guys start walking towards the manor and as you get to the manor, Lanu knocks on the door, and you are greeted by Serafina and Perrin Goodbarrel, who usher you guys in and bring you towards the dining room, where you see a young Annalisa sitting at her chair. Does Annalisa stand up?
No, she stands. Her parents specifically instructed her, and
Yeah.
she wouldn't. Yeah. So she does stand.
Annalisa stands to greet you guys, and you're all ushered down to your individual seats.
Yeah, I think Annalisa kind of like I'm assuming like probably like Tucker and the professor come in first.
Yeah.
And she's sort of like, like, "Hello, Professor Chillin, sparrows." And then she turns to greet Ordo and is just like shuts up instantly when she finally sees how tall he is standing.
Hello, little one. It is nice to see you again.
She's kind of like taken back, and she's like, "Well, you certainly are a tall one standing."
That is correct.
Perrin, your father, kind of like, he can't really say anything because there's gas, but he gives you a quick look and heads back on over to his seat. In general, it seems like your parents have been a little harsh on you in the past year and a half, obviously. I'm not sure how exactly you're taking that, but they still are the same loving parents, obviously. But they have been a little harsh on you than before Clem's defeat. And you all sit down, and Perrin is actually the first person to speak up, and he goes, "Well, it's great to have everybody here. It seems like my lovely wife Serafina has invited a few more researchers, which I didn't know about prior to this, but we are glad to have you guys here. So, what? I guess, putting it simply, we want you guys to take a look at the obelisk and see if there's anything else around. But there's also one more thing I kind of want to ask from you, if possible. Recently, our farmers have reported the sighting of slimes and oozes. A few of our farmers have gotten minorly injured from them, but it's nothing overly dramatic, but it is a little concerning. Can we ask that you take a look at them as well? And go on.
Go ahead, Ordo.
Okay. I would love to look at them. Slimes are beautiful creatures.
You've seen them before?
I've seen plenty of slimes.
Huh. What exactly do how do they hurt people?
Are you? Well,
Are you asking Ordo or Perrin?
Tuck is just asking anyone who wants to answer,
Okay.
I guess, like in general.
I've never seen them hurt anyone.
Perrin kind of goes, well, you see, these guys seem to have a little bit more acidic properties. So although physically they don't seem to pack a punch, they tend to burn on someone's skin, and there's even reports of them burning through some clothing. And
So cool.
And Serafina goes, yeah, it seems to be a little bit of a minor issue, but obviously it's something that we wouldn't want escalating any further. From what we've been told, it's not impossible for slimes to be created by residual magic or something like that. So it might be worth investigating to see if there's anything external causing it.
I would love to investigate, and I think Annalisa would love to come with me, huh? And he's gonna look at her. He's gonna grin at her.
Annalisa kind of like makes a not an overt face, but like a definite like she's not like sticking her tongue out like nah, but it's kind of like a like a squinty eyes, squinty nose kind of like.
Barely concealed contempt.
Perrin looks a little worried, but Serafina actually seems to love the idea. And Perrin's like, I don't. And Serafina's like, oh, that's a fantastic idea, Tucker. Oh, that is a fantastic idea. I think it might be a good experience for Annalisa to try that out as well. What do you think, Annalisa?
Annalisa kind of like turns and looks at her mother and is like, you want me to spend time investigating these? Why would that be a good experience for me?
She goes, well, it's going to be something you haven't done yet. And I believe that the more you do, the better it is for you to... The more you do, the more experience you'll have to carry on the Good Barrel name.
Annalisa kind of looks at her mother for a moment, like kind of thinking it over, and then goes, well, if that's your reasoning, then I have no choice but to accept. And she kind of puffs her chest out a little, and she's like, don't worry, Mother, I will lead all of these people into victory against the slimes.
This is Annalisa's quest with everyone as the side characters. Serafina kind of, she smiles. She goes, I'll talk to you after dinner. I think I'll have some things that you might find useful. But she does kind of turn back to everybody, and she goes, well, we recently met Ordo. He seems to be a cleric. I think that'll be great help later on as well. But I still don't think I've gotten your name, young lady. She kind of looks at Wiggs, and she goes, could you perhaps introduce yourselves? And at this time, the servers are kind of bringing out everyone's soups. It is a savory smelling soup that has obviously had quite some fantastic spices put into it. You see that Serafina and Perrin seem to take quite a lot of pride in their food, as this is definitely not commoner food. The soup has you know how the soup's kind of like sometimes an entire like lamb on the bone kind of deal on it, and it's fucking delicious. That that being said, is Ordo vegetarian? Actually, I'm kind of curious now.
I honestly, I've been thinking about that this whole time, and I think he would in fact be vegetarian. So.
Ordo, this meat plate is placed in front of you. Are you gonna ask for something else?
I mean no disrespect, ma'am, but I am a vegetarian. I do not partake in eating of meat. So please, I mean no disrespect, but I will have to pass on the meal if it is predominantly meat based.
Stephanie goes, oh, no. We could most certainly prepare something else for you. Perhaps the soup won't be ready immediately, but we could certainly prepare something else for you. and she kind of like gestures to a waiter, to a worker, and the worker comes by, takes your plate, and brings it over there. Is anyone else a vegetarian out of curiosity? I thought Ordo might be because I just realized elephants don't eat meat, but still.
Tucker is not. In fact, he starts just digging in a very enthusiastic manner.
Annalisa is like definitely not even paying attention to this side conversation with Ordo, just busy looking disgusted with Sarah.
Wiggs?
Wix is waiting to introduce herself after all the food.
Yeah, not too much longer later. The food's given out. The waitress, the worker goes back, and Ordo does not have food at the moment. But Serafina goes, "Oh, my apologies. Would you please introduce yourself?"
Yes, my name is Wix, and I'm just a traveler.
Okay.
I love the wait for everything to get done for a
Parent.
10-word sentence.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Parents just like, do you do magic of any sort, or do you fight? He seems to be a little bit more
Yeah.
practical, shall we say?
Yes, I've been gifted with magic since I've been a baby.
Okay, that's why you're here. Gotcha. And Serafina kind of like Serafina's obviously slightly a little more refined. Definitely some of Perrin's crunch has definitely rubbed off on Annalisa a little bit. But he's still very formal. He's still very kind to y'all. And he goes, "Well, that's fantastic. I'm sure y'all will do fantastic tomorrow." He kind of looks over at Tucker, and he gives a smile. Just like he definitely understands. Like that's a boy with a growing appetite. He gets it.
His cheeks are stuffed.
But he goes, "If you guys have any questions for us, please don't hold back. We don't want you to feel shy about that."
Tucker kind of wipes his mouth with the napkin, not his sleeves.
Wipes it with a tablecloth.
His professor's there. He has to be on his best behavior.
Fair enough.
He's going to say, yeah, is there any particular area that we should be investigating? Because I did notice that there don't seem to be too many slimes near the village itself.
He goes, "Yeah, that's actually what's kind of weirding us out. They seem to be surrounding the village. We found them all over the farms and the vine groves, but we haven't seen too many actually enter the village. In fact, we haven't seen a single one into the village, which we kind of find a little weird. Why would why is there a center that doesn't exist? It's kind of what we're thinking, but we don't know the reason why for that."
Is there any concentrated area of them?
He goes, concentrated, not per se. We have, once I mostly found them in the groves, so the farmlands, yes. The city, no. That's the best information I really have for you. They've only appeared maybe a couple weeks ago, so we haven't had enough time to do a proper investigation ourselves.
When I arrived, a very silly man who escorted me to town, he mentioned a very strange woman around. Could this be and he seemed very concerned about my well-being. Could this be related to her? And do you know anything of this strange woman?
They both look at Wiggs.
Ordo does not recognize.
And they both look at Ordo, and Serafina goes, Well, we have recently had a new elven woman going around town who seems to have been a little panicked, I should say. But she seems to be fine now, as she is currently sitting next to you.
Who all am I sitting next? Who all is next?
Yeah,
to me?
what's the order of
Okay,
this table?
fair enough.
Yeah.
At the head of the table, there's no head of the table. Let me put it like that. Instead, there's because they don't the good barrels don't believe in a head of the table. It's a community event, obviously. It's actually just like a really big, large, well-made wooden round table with some nice little decorations in the middle. The room itself, I should have explained, is very well made. It's not fancy marble, fancy like jadeite kind of stuff. It's very like well-made wood with a lot of like there may be like stone kind of like details around it with like silver inlays with like magical lights kind of deal. Small stuff to provide little mood lighting kind of deal, but there's nothing like overtly like rich people. It's more along the lines of everything's just really well manicured and really well made. And this table is where you're sitting there. I will say this: it's going to be starting from Perrin, Serafina. I forgot Annalisa's name for a second. Annalisa. I will say then, just to prevent too much from happening, Lanu, then Tucker. After that, it's going to be Wiggs, Ordo, and then Perrin.
Okay, cool. So Order looks over at Perrin and is like, are you the elf? Who are just like not realizing that they were talking about Wiggs.
Yeah, we're clear about that. Yes.
Yeah, in case that wasn't obvious.
Perrin kind of goes, no, I'm I'm a halfling, and the woman next to you on your right, and he goes on your right, kind of leans a little bit forward and kind of like points.
And Order looks over.
She's the elf.
Ah. Wait, so do you know who the strange woman is?
Kanya's gonna pipe in, and then he's to be like, Ordo, it's her.
Well, she doesn't seem very strange or threatening. What? Did that silly man think I could be taken on by... no offense, you?
Excuse me?
Well, I just said, I mean no offense, but...
Tucker,
I mean...
you kind of see Lanu chilling. He's putting up his napkin to his mouth, but he's definitely laughing a little bit. Like he's enjoying this as well.
Tuck and Lanu are just here for the show.
Annalisa is watching this with that expression that seems to now come up whenever Wiggs and Ordo are present together. Just around.
Go ahead.
Tuck's gonna look at Wiggs and be like, it looks like you caused a little bit of a stir upon arriving here.
Oh, I knew people were watching me.
Yeah.
Who was watching you?
Apparently everyone for the past 2 weeks.
To be fair, I did try to stalk you guys.
Lanu at that point does look a little more concerned, but he doesn't vocalize anything, but does look a little more concerned. Yeah.
Was that what you were doing when you tripped over that bucket?
Then he starts laughing. At this point, he can't hold it back. Lanu just kind of. That's what he kind of does, or more like.
Listen, you have to observe before interaction. Like kind of get the lay of the land, but in this case, the lay of the people, so you know what you're walking into.
You're walking into a bucket, apparently.
At this point, Perrin and Serafina do join in on the laugh as well. They seem to be enjoying the talk as well. They join in. They're not overly boisterous. But they're laughing for sure.
Tuck is gonna look at Wiggs and be like, "So what's your story?"
I will,
I don't remember.
I will say at that point, you are brought like a very good vegetarian soup, and I will say it does smell delicious.
Mm.
Once again, those dank spices are in there. You know you had Salt Bay just kind of like putting in all those good spices.
So I
Wiggs
do
is
have to.
always interrupted by food, apparently.
I do
Yeah,
have to
food
ask,
is far more important.
Listen, it's kind of like the thing where like your character never uses the restroom, but they should use the restroom kind of deal. Like like you're eating, you should get your food.
as a 7'6" tall creature.
Right, the chair you're sitting in,
how's
by the
my-
way,
yeah.
is like it's
how's
like a
that working?
double wide chair. Like they brought out a double
Okay.
wide. It's still a little tight. Like it's still a little tight, but you're okay.
How? So
You have just they don't have like bigger spoons. You just have a normal spoon. It's a little small.
Ordo just kind of like dips his trunk into the into the soup and just starts to,
Slurp it all up.
yeah.
Tuck is so excited to see that.
Beautiful.
He was specifically
he-
watching to see if he would trunk.
He does do everything he can to like not make a mess. And considering he's been using this technique for 25 years as if it were his hands, I feel like he would do a pretty good job myself.
I think it goes without saying that Annalisa is appalled.
So you do the thing that the elephants do. You kind of dip your trunk in, and you put it in your mouth and like drink it that way. It is delicious with a side of snot. No, it is. You keep your nose clean. It is very good. You've enjoyed it thoroughly, and like one slurp of like your tusk is enough to take up like half the bowl. And put that in your mouth. Like half your soup is already gone. But you can tell these are some really fresh, really good vegetables as well.
I do say this might be the most delicious thing I've had in quite some time.
Serafina goes, "Oh, well, be sure to tell the chef about your compliments."
Please do, thank you. And then I just slurp again, and then finish my soup, I guess.
Well, you could take a smaller slurp if you want. You don't need to go full in.
Okay, I'll take a slightly smaller slurp. Slightly smaller slurp.
Yeah, you take a little bit of a smaller slurp to enjoy enjoy it just a little bit longer.
Swish it around in my mouth a little bit. Really get the aroma.
Tuck is absolutely delighted watching that he's going to shift his attention back to Wiggs and focus back onto her, and he's going to say, "So, you said you don't remember. Is that like a magical thing, or like just a hit on the head kind of situation?"
I remember from when I was much younger. I used to study and travel and discover and research, but that's about it. And all of a sudden, I'm just here, and there's stuff going on that no one really notices, and I'm trying to get to the bottom. All of a sudden,
Huh. That sounds kind of like what me and the professor do. He's gonna look at Lon.
Lana goes, yes, we do something very similar. We travel on commission and do some research, and of course, when there's something a little more interesting, we might have to hold back some of our commissioned research to take a look at that. But we have visited this area quite a few times on commission to explore more about more about the obelisk. If you guys are joining us, I'll be sure to keep you updated tomorrow after your own research with the slimes.
I would love that.
And at this point, you guys spend like a pretty... Let me put it like this. The atmosphere definitely does not change. There's definitely some banter going on here and there as you guys continue eating on. You're brought out some delicious food for everyone. Because you're pretty far from the sea, you're brought out this really delicious like meat concoction with rice and fresh potatoes and not baked potatoes, like roasted potatoes and carrots and stuff like that. It is delicious, and you brought out some really great mead. This is medieval times. There isn't really a drinking age because mead and alcohol were the safest things. But of course, everyone is offered mead. If you don't want mead, you obviously do not need to take it.
Ordo takes a lot.
I assume it takes a lot to get you a little buzzed. Yeah. Ordo takes. They bring out actually like they have a tankard.
A bucket. Okay.
They have like a small tankard. They bring out the small tankard
It's
for
a
you.
keg.
It's a small keg. Yeah, like your normal keg are like really big. Like this is a smaller one, probably like
Yeah.
2 feet tall. That's it.
Okay.
And they give you this giant keg of. Fuck! It's a wine place. I said mead. They give you this giant keg of wine, and everyone else they offer wine too. And whether you take it or not, you guys are enjoying this night. You get a little tipsy, maybe. And eventually you guys are sent. Eventually you guys leave and go back to your lodgings. During the night, I'm going to once again go for one at this point because we're gonna kind of get funny. During the night, Annalisa, while you're in your room, you hear a knock at your door. What do you do?
She gets up and answers it.
As you enter the door, you see your mother on the outside. And she goes, Annalisa, I believe it's time we have a talk. And she kind of sits, she kind of comes on in and she sits on your bed and she pats one side of the bed for you to join her.
Annalisa goes over and she sort of like straightens out her nightgown and sits down properly and looks at her mother.
She goes, believe it or not, Annalisa, when I was your age, I did a lot of she kind of looks around and she goes, it's been a while since I thought about these days, but when I was your age, I actually did a lot of adventuring. I had, with, of course, my mother's permission, gone out and hunted boar and fought. I once fought a golem. It was one of the coolest things I ever did. She goes to you.
I'm sure your victory was magnificent.
Oh, it was, but what kind of weapon does Annalisa use again?
A great axe.
Mm-hmm. She goes, but more than that, I learned a lot. And your father did something very similar. Your father was actually just, am I correct in remembering he was a merchant, right?
Yes.
He was a merchant, and he actually traveled around with a caravan, and he protected against bandits. We've both done quite a bit of traveler in our life, and we want you to have that same experience. And she kind of goes, would you mind coming with, would you mind coming with me just for a moment? I want to give you something as kind of, I wouldn't say your threshold into adventuring, but I'd like to give you something to help you out.
Annalisa goes, of course. And she stands up.
She gives you a big smile, and she goes, I guess that was a really easy talk sitting on there. I thought it would take a little longer. And she stands up, and she heads on out, and she leads you downstairs to the cellar. And she brings you to the door that you've seen in the cellar, but you just never really had the need to ever walk in. And you kind of see in there's a small room full of mannequins. And some of these mannequins have armor on them. Some of these mannequins have weapons near them. And some of these stands have weapons. And she goes, I want to give you some of my first adventuring gear. And she goes, nothing over the top. I think you have to learn, obviously, how to use it. But she walks to the side and she takes out a great axe. And she goes, believe it or not, this was my first weapon that I used to slay a goblin who threatened the area. And she goes, it has quite a bit of history with me, and I would love to pass it down to you.
Annalisa looks at it and she nods and she goes, I'd be honored to continue the legacy of this weapon. And she kind of like holds out both her hands.
And she go and you see Serafina kind of laugh, and she goes, "You don't need to. You know what? Please do." And she kind of gives it to you, and she goes, and she does something that she hasn't done. She shows affection in a lot of ways, obviously hugs and whatnot, but like, I think this is the first time she's ever actually like kind of ruffled your hair, if that makes sense. She puts her hand on your head and she kind of ruffles your hair. This is a very casual form. You've been raised to be pretty proper. And this sign of casualness is probably the first real big casual thing you've been given. You've obviously been given hugs, kisses on the cheek, that kind of deal, but this is very like informal. And she goes, kick some ass out there, all right?
Annalisa kind of like blinks at the head ruffle, but when her mom says to kick some ass, she smiles.
All right. At that point, you're able to choose some of the armor from your mother's personal armory.
I don't think her mother would have armor because she was also a barbarian.
Well, your
right?
Yeah. Your father's armor, if you wanted to. Then let me put it like that. Good point. Thank you for catching me. But you don't need to, obviously. She just offers you anything you want. She doesn't want you to do it, and she doesn't want you to ever feel like you can't take from them. She wants you to know like their armory is your armory essentially. And you kind of see your father there too, kind of in the background. He obviously looks a little more concerned for your safety. He was probably a little bit more of a doting parent, but like he's definitely watching on over you. And when you kind of look back at him, he gives you a smile and a little bit of a thumbs up and goes, "Yeah, you're gonna have to kick some ass out there."
She smiles and she says, "And much ass will be kicked."
I love her.
Wiggs and Ordo, you two are walking out of the estate. You said your goodbyes to Lanu and someone who doesn't really want to say goodbye to you because he's pretty interested in Tucker. Lanu actually does have a little bit of idea. He goes, he does kind of go, Tucker, if you would like to stay with them, you do have some money on you. You could get your own room at their inn.
Well, are you giving me permission?
I'm saying you could do whatever you want.
Tucker kind of thinks for a minute. Then he sort of skulks into the shadows and he's going to attempt to stalk again and into their conversation.
Okay, give me a stealth roll. Once again, Ordo, Ordo's passive perception is 14. Wiggs, please give me a perception roll as you look behind your shoulders at all times. Now knowing people have been talking about you.
I definitely thought this was happening right in front of Ordo and Wiggs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That's what I was thinking too. That's the best part.
Oh, well, maybe it works out. I got a 10.
So Tucker, you skulk into the shadows, and it's just like everyone's watching you. You just kind of like Batman into the shadows a little bit. You're standing in a shadow, just watching.
Tucker stands very still.
Lanu just gives you a thumbs up and heads towards his room, and goes to Ordo and Wiggs. I do hope that he is not much of an issue. It'll be his first mission without me. So I do implore you good care of him. And
I will.
he goes, thank you, and he starts heading back to his hotel. Wiggs and Ordo, do you just walk knowing that he's kind of skulking in the shadows?
I'm gonna call out to him.
Mm-hmm.
Tucker, do you remember how I said I've been being watched for 2 weeks? I'm well aware when I'm being watched.
Tuck doesn't say anything at first, but then Lee steps out of the shadows. It's just like, I really need to get better at that. And
Yes,
he
he
falls
does.
into step with them.
As you guys walk back towards the end, it doesn't take you too long. It's actually just essentially a couple blocks away. Ordo and Wiggs, the inn has a small communal room that you can make food or get a drink at or just talk at if you want to. That being said, Tucker, you have probably not made a reservation before on your own. And you are greeted by a halfling who's manning the desk, and he kind of goes, "Oh, welcome back, strangers. How can I help y'all?"
My Ordo just in a weird I don't know. Forget the description. He just goes, my friend here needs a room for the night, and just points at Tucker.
Tucker waves. I need a room for the night.
You know what? It sounds like a plan. I mean, we got plenty of rooms up there on the second, third floor. He kind of goes through. He kind of looks at the keys, and he goes, "All right, yeah, I can get you a couple keys here. I'm gonna need a couple copper for that. For in game, if you guys really want to track it, I don't care about the copper. It's the gold I care about. But if you guys want to track the in-game copper, it's going to be like 2 copper for a night."
Tuck hands over 2 copper, and he's going to look around, and he's going to say, "Man, this place is really different from Wine's casket. Is it cast or casket?
Cask.
This place is real different from the Wine's cask."
He goes, well, you see, a lot of the workers stay around here, and most of the time, it's not really the adventuring types coming around here. The adventure types typically go there. They got a little bit, few more gold to spend, more so than the workers do.
Like the workers who work out on the field.
Yep. And as you kind of look around, you do see quite a few workers actually coming in for the night. A lot of them now have like a jug of either ale or wine. They're just kind of like talking, having a happy-go-merry. You see like a guy, not badly, but he's obviously not like a bard or nothing. He's playing the lute kind of in the corner, just kind of like everyone's kind of singing around, kind of like sea shanties, but from the Grapevines. It's like grape shanties.
Great shanty.
Vineyard shanties.
Vineyard shanties. There we go. You see some vineyard shanties going along, and it's a lot of fun as you see kind of a couple of folks just kind of like singing vineyard shanties.
Does the bard have like a hat or something out to collect tips or anything?
I'll say this: he's not a bard.
Okay. Does the performer?
He does not. It seems like he's just genuinely trying to like enjoy his time with all the workers here.
Okay.
Do any of the workers does Tucker notice any of the workers with on them, like acid burn?
Ooh, give me an investigation roll.
Investigation. Dirty 20.
So as you kind of look around, you don't recognize anyone with like obvious acid burns like going down their arm or the leg or something, but you do recognize some people with like singed or burnt clothing, I guess the best way to put it. Their work clothes seem to have been teared or tattered in a kind of like a splosh instead of like from like going out and getting hooked on a branch or something and being ripped. It looks like a slosh had been kind of like burned off, and you see like a scar or something down there, but it's a very faint one. It's not anything sincere.
Upon noticing them, Tuck is sort of going to nudge Ordo and Wiggs, and he's going to point them out and say, "It looks like those are the guys or people who might have slime encounters we've been hearing about."
But maybe we should go talk to them. And then, real quick, how many people are like hanging out in the communal area roughly?
I will say in this area specifically, there's probably because there's a lot of rooms upstairs. The building's pretty large. I'll say, and not only that, the first floor is also kind of used for rooms and the communal area.
Gotcha.
There's probably at least 15, 20 people down here.
Is there like a bar or anything?
The communal area doesn't have an official bar. Rather, what it has is kind of along the lines of kind of a setup area where the food and stuff is put down, almost like a buffet style kind of deal, with a whole bunch of chairs and tables kind of spread around. There's no official bartender. There's just people who come in and replace the food and stuff every once in a while. The one thing that is kind of tended to is the alcohol, obviously.
Right.
There is someone there who, not per se behind the bar, but you do see a halfling there, kind of just helping people get their drinks and being like, all right, you got too much. I'm cutting you off for the night, kind of deal. And he'll collect the copper and silver from them after each glass, or he'll say usual tab, and it's like yeah, that kind of deal.
Gotcha. Ordo walks up to the not bartender.
Yeah.
And he offers to just pay the entire tab for the guy performing.
Oh. He goes. You serious? He's racked up like 13,000. No, I'm kidding.
Ordo like looks around shiftily real quick, like
No, don't worry. He goes, that's a joke. Yeah, no, sure. He's only got like 2 gold on this tab. It's fine.
Absolutely. Let me cover that for him.
He goes, oh fuck, I gotta make up a name real quick. He goes, yeah. Well, I'll cover Rich's tab for you. Hey, Rich! And Rich kind of looks over, and he's just kind of like, he kind of goes, he kind of the loot stops. He goes, yeah, what's up? And he goes, this guy's giving you a big old tip for your performance. It looks like. And the guy looks like very happy. He goes, oh, no need to, but thank you very much. He looks at you, and he kind of goes, do you have a song you would like me to play? Let me at least thank you that way.
Yes. Let me just think of the songs of the era that I know.
Anyways, this is Wonderwall.
Play Wonderwall.
You can play Wonderwall if you want him to. I'm cool with that.
Sure. You know what? Let him play Wonderwall.
He plays Wonderwall, and it is fantastic.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he plays Wonderwall, and he does it fantastically. As you guys kind of sit around and enjoy yourselves over some snacks and beverages. At least they do. Wiggs, what is Wiggs doing? This is a pretty populated area for Wiggs, so what is she doing?
Wiggs is staying far away from that.
Has Wiggs gone to her room already?
Wiggs has gone to her room, and she, even though she's in her own room, she sleeps with all of her stuff on her. Which they don't know that because she's an elf, so she's supposed to like meditate.
Right, yeah. So you go to sleep and you kind of like pile on your stuff on top of you. That way no one gets suspicious. You kind of shape it as if it's an elf meditating on a bed. Puts a lot of weight on your like stomach, but it's okay. And lastly, Tuck, what are you doing?
Tuck is going to approach the people or the person.
Yeah.
Seems to have singes on their clothes or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be like, rough day at work, huh?
Let's say it is a half orc man answers you, and he kind of goes, Yeah, I suppose it has been, normal every day.
He points out the burns, and he's say, "We've heard about slimes giving the field workers some problems. Is that where you got your injury from?"
Oh shit, yeah, that was last week. That is still it's okay now, but it is definitely wasn't pleasant when I got it. No.
I ran into some on my way into town actually, but they didn't really attack us. Do you know if you did anything to provoke them while you were out there?
Uh, you hear actually another worker come by and he kind of goes, "Oh, this kid asking about the slimes," and the half orc's just like, "Oh yeah, he is." And the guy goes, "Oh man, those slimes. Let me take kid, come here. Let me tell you something about the slimes. Yeah,
Tucker leans in close.
the slimes are controlled by a slime mancer.
A slime. What's a slime answer?
So, you've heard of necromancers, right?
Yeah, people who bring stuff back from the dead.
Exactly. This is a slime mancer. I've seen her walking around the area. She just kind of like looks around all scared like and then like hides around. She's bringing the slimes here. I can feel it.
I love this guy.
You have to be careful. You have to watch your surroundings.
Tucker is going to raise his brow and he say, "Right. Does she happen to look like?" And he's going to give a description of Wig's.
You already know the threat, kid. You have to be careful out there, he goes. And he kind of goes, "These people, slime mancers." And you see the half-orc just kind of like, "Ugh, not this again." He kind of goes, "You see these people, they take slimes and they slowly make them corrupt you until you become a slime yourself."
Right.
This guy here, he kind of passed the half-orc's shoulder. He goes, "He almost became a slime. I started seeing his skin turn purple and blue the moment the slime hit him." And the guy goes, "That was a bruise/burn." He goes, "He was turning into a slime."
What's your name, sir?
Fuck.
That's a weird name.
Slime man.
Fantasy name generator and PDF doc to
Oh,
put
I
all
love
my
name generator.
Let's see. Fantasy name generator. Let's make this paranoid dude. Oh, that give me World of Warcraft. I don't want that. I want. There we go. Let's go for uncheck all. Let's put humans. Elves, fairies, giants, gnomes, goblins. They don't have humans on this list. Okay, that's weird. Fantasy name generator 5e. This is the best part about listening to a D&D stream. You get all the back stuff you'd never get otherwise.
Slime Jim.
Slime Jim. Wasn't there like a earthworm Jim or something?
Yeah,
Earthworm.
I don't know, but whatever you name this guy, he's gonna be Slime Jim to me forever.
He goes, "My name is Jupe Moom."
Juplume.
No.
Tell me, Juplume,
Moom.
how do you defeat a slime answer?
He goes, "Well, believe it or not, if you become a slime, but stay sentient, you can sneak up on them. But that's not the good thing, because then you become the slime mancer and become evil. But if you..." And the half-orc just kind of like puts his hand over his mouth and he goes, "Listen, kid, this guy is full of shit. They just happen to be invading, probably some migratory thing. Who knows? And the guy's just like, "No, I swear, you have to go forward, and you're gonna have to." I just, I was actually muffling my mouth there. And just kind of like you kind of see like squeeze his face a little bit. It's just like it's probably migratory. There's nothing to really worry about.
Right. How long ago did they start showing up?
And at the same time, that slime monster. You hear him yelling. And he goes, roughly 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
It's going after me and my kids, I swear to God!
Tucker's gonna try and slip away.
Tucker, you slip away with relative ease. Is there any place you want to go before you start heading off to bed?
Yeah, I want to sneak into Wiggs's room.
I'm gonna say this: you don't know which room Wiggs is in, unless you could give me because this inn is full of like dozens of rooms. Unless you could give me a good reason why you know which room Wiggs is in, or ways in that you would find Wiggs' room, I'm gonna say a hard no.
Tucker's going to Tucker is going to go to the guy that he got his key from.
Yes.
And he's going to say, "Hey, my friend kind of appeared. Tell her something. You know which room she's in?"
Give me a bluff roll.
Would that be? There's no
Deception.
Deception.
If I say bluff, I mean deception. The Pathfinder terminology is still with me a little bit. I played Pathfinder for so many years.
All right, let's see. What's my deception? 21.
He goes, "Oh shoot, man!" He goes, "Oh shoot, let me help you out with that. Let me help you all out with that." And he kind of goes around and he kind of flips to it. He goes, "Yeah, okay, yeah, the elven lady, right? She's in room 204."
Thanks. And Mark is going to try and slip upstairs and go to her room.
It's not hard to slip upstairs as everyone is kind of distracted, and you go towards her room, and it is currently locked, but it is there. 204 is there.
I'm going to listen on her door. Do I hear anything?
Kelly?
Well, I feel like I'm meditating right now, so she probably doesn't.
You hear nothing. That being said, is Wiggs a snorer?
Wiggs is not a snorer.
Okay, so yeah, you do not hear. You hear nothing.
I'm going to use my feet to pick the lock.
Roll with proficiency, because you probably have proficiency with this. Your thieves' tools to pick the
Yes,
lock.
and I have expertise in it as well.
Jesus fucking Christ! Okay, roll while you blow this fucking thing out of the water.
Well, if I don't roll a nat 1. That is a 17.
Whoa, what happened?
This is a simple lock, so you're able to pick the lock, and the door opens.
I'm gonna try and
I do want to know, before this goes on, what motivation do you have to sneak into Wiggs' room?
I think that even the guy was super crazy. Tuck be that there's always a truth even in the absurd, and that it's always following up on.
Got you. You look like a
So
fox
you
smolder.
think I'm a slime mancer?
He's he doesn't believe what Slime Man says, but he does believe that there might be perhaps a correlation that he just wants to follow.
You're pulling
Maybe.
a fox molder. I got you. you slip on by and slip on in, and as you kind of look around, you see that you see what seems to be a humanoid figure you're assuming is her meditating on her bed. Um, because it's dark in there, there's no lights on, you don't see that she's currently sleeping, but you see that she's currently meditating. What do you do?
I want to look around her to see if anything out of place or weird, I guess.
Sure. You're gonna have to give me 2 rolls: a stealth roll to not wake her up, and an investigation roll to see what's in there.
And keep in mind, I sleep with all my stuff next to me, so I'm like
Yeah.
paranoid someone will do this to me.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I find is fucking hilarious.
I guess all those years of paranoia have finally paid off.
The moment you meet Tucker.
This first roll will be
Stealth.
14.
What is your passive perception, Kelly?
What is passive perception again?
Perception plus 10. So, sorry, it's your wisdom modifier. Yeah, it's your perception plus 10.
Oh, 13. Shoot.
Yeah. You stealth in nice and easy. There's like a creak in the floorboard, but like nothing happens.
Okay, and I would like to. So the second roll, I assume, would be perception or investigation.
Investigation.
Okay. 23.
I'll say this: after you look around, you realize there's nothing. Surprisingly, the room is very empty until you look on her bed, and then you realize kind of everything she has is piled on top of something, and is made to look like a humanoid. But it's like you see clothes and jackets and like a small bag and a suitcase, kind of deal. It's just like all on top of her, because you gotta look down. You kind of see like her face on the pillow real quick, and it's just like she's sleeping.
Huh. So Tuck is a half elf,
Mm-hmm.
so he would kind of know that elves usually
Yeah, they meditate.
meditate.
It's not impossible for an elf to sleep. They don't need to.
Huh. Is there anything slime related that I see?
Nothing slime related whatsoever. Not a single thing. I mean, Kelly, do you have like a jar of jam on you or something?
Not that I know of.
So no, there's nothing slime related.
Huh. Okay. So all her stuff is on top of. Would I need to make another stealth roll to kind of look through her bag or anything?
I will say this: if you're gonna look through her bag, you're gonna make a sleight of hand check, and if you do somewhat poorly, you will like have like a sock fall on her face, and she will wake up.
Do I chance it?
I don't know. Do you?
Would Tucker chance it?
That is the question.
Yeah.
I know, because I think that Tucker is not going to chance it. I don't think that he to make her pissed off at him to be
More
working
paranoid.
together. Yes, especially since. But then again, no, Tuck is a risk taker. He'll chance it. He's gonna try and look for stuff with sleight of hand.
Roll me a sleight of hand roll. Let's see what happens.
Oh god, I'm so nervous. Oh no!
You
Yikes.
pull from the middle, and like a torrent of clothes fall on Wiggs. Wiggs, your clothes have fallen on you. You are shocked awake, but there's like stuff in your face. What do you do?
Tuck run as
Fireball.
Oh, okay. To be fair, I feel like Wiggs would immediately pull a firebolt out there.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Roll to hit with disadvantage, Kelly. What's your AC, Tucker?
13.
Whoo, it's not gonna be a hard
Oh,
hit.
look on one. Mm?
I forgot about firebolt, so now I have to find it real quick.
Essentially, it's a
Alright.
spell attack, so you have to roll to hit.
All right.
And then I think it does 1d10 damage.
Oh no,
14.
I have. Oh, that just barely. Yes, it hits.
That hits, yeah. So roll 1d10 there.
Oh man.
I only have 9 hit points.
3.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Let me just double check Firebolt to make sure. Yeah, it is 1d10. Make a ranged spell attack on hit. The target takes 1d10 fire damage. A flammable object hit, the spell ignites it if it's not being worn or carried. So it does hit someone who is wearing things, but so it's not going to ignite you on fire, Tucker. So you'll be fine that way at least.
Thank God.
But you do get hit with a firebolt, and it's just kind of like you get singed. Like the firebolt like goes across your shoulder, and you feel the heat from it. It's not pleasurable at all.
Tucker is running as fast as he can.
Give me a dexterity roll. You know what? Give me an athletics roll, because you're not making a graceful exit right now. You're just yeeting.
All right.
And I'm gonna assume Wiggs does want to see what's happening. Give me a perception roll with disadvantage.
Can I do acrobatics?
Are you like flipping your way out of there?
10.
He's gonna well, he is being hit by a fireball. He is trying to dodge.
I will say, because of the surprise, you're not running like acrobatically. Like you're not doing anything acrobatically. You're just running out. Give me an athletics.
All
roll.
right, fair enough.
Oh wait,
14.
does that spell trigger my wild magic at all?
Oh, how does your wild magic work?
So like I think I have to roll, and if I roll a 1, then that's when you go to the percentage. Hang on, let me double check.
Please do. I
Yeah.
forgot about wild magic entirely. You're gonna have to remind me about this. Wild magic, sure. Starting when you choose this at level first, your spell casting unleashes a surge of untamed magic. Immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell, first level or higher, the DM can have you roll a d20. If you roll a 1, roll on the roll a d20.
Firebolt's cantrip,
It's
isn't
a
it?
cantrip.
Oh, so
So
you're
it's
fine.
not level 1.
You're fine. Yes, you're good.
I rolled 14 athletics.
I'll say this: you see the foot of like the person leaving, Kelly. But Wiggs has no idea who just came in. You just know they left. But like all your socks and your clothes are still there. But like just so someone just ran out of your door. They didn't even bother to close it.
Awesome. Can I roll for like investigation? See if I can find any traces of who was in my room.
You have to get everything off your stomach first.
Oh yeah, well obviously.
So you take like a few minutes to get everything off of you. You can give me a quick investigation roll. Yeah.
17.
Yeah. Okay. The first thing you do is you take a look around. There's obviously nothing discernible around you, and you go outside. There's nothing around. You close the door and head downstairs to ask around. And it's not much longer later that the the doorkeep kind of goes, "Oh yeah, no, the young boy around was asking for your room number. He said he had to tell you something."
Thank you.
All right.
Rip to Tucker.
Are you doing anything with that information, Wiggs, or?
I'm just gonna keep that in the back of my mind.
Okay. You guys eventually head on off for the night and sleep well, getting a full rest. So that 3 damage is gone. And the next morning, you are all woken up by the crow of the cock, shall we say. And you all have now kind of the opportunity to do. I will say this, Tucker, during your investigation last night, the man had kind of given you that's an area where he generally worked in, kind of saying he was in the southeast area of the fields. And Ordo, during your communion with everyone, they kind of told some stories too, and you know that there's some kind of in the southwest as well.
Gotcha.
The north tends to be a little less grove filled, so there doesn't seem to be as many there. But they do all mention like this deep purple color that happens with these slimes. So you all reconvene in the morning, and Elisa, you wake up a little earlier than you typically do. How's Annalisa waking up extra early at the Rooster's Crow? How's Annalisa with that?
Uh, I mean, I don't think she's cranky about it as long as she's like well rested. Like
Yeah, true.
if so and so I think she wakes up fine, and she sort
Okay.
of like starts prepping for the day.
Awesome. Annalisa, you end up you're told where everyone should be, the nearby inn, and you headed your way on there to see who's the first to wake up from Ordo, Wiggs, and Tucker. That's my question.
Tucker
don't
probably sleeps a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think Ordo is like rushing when he wakes up, but he probably would wake up like when the cock crows or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was you said.
And what about Wiggs?
She probably woke up when the crow called.
You guys, so Wiggs and Ordo, you guys ended up going downstairs, kind of get the English muffin that's in that's in the little hotel area. You eat English muffin, your jam, and like your banana kind of deal. And you also end up, and not too much longer later, you see Annalisa Goodbarrel walking in, decked out in what seems to definitely be a lot more adventure gear. She's not wearing the. Are you wearing this dress actually?
I feel like she's still wearing a dress. It's
Gotcha.
probably not one of her nicer ones, but it's probably still not perfect adventure gear.
It's above common or below noble.
Yes. It's she's dressed more for she knows that she's going to be traveling in rougher lands, but she doesn't know what that means. So she just hasn't broken out her finest, but she's broken out her fine. And she's got her good old great axe strapped to her back.
You guys see Annalisa coming in what seems to be a pretty decent dress and a big old great axe on her back, just kind of slumped over there, ready to spring into action, shall we say. And Annalisa, you see the big Luxodon and the elven woman not too far away. What do you do, Annalisa?
Annalisa marches on over and is like, hello. Or no, that's not what she says. She says, she kind of marches over and she's like, good, both of you are awake.
Well, yes, of course we are. Why wouldn't we be?
Well, if you were particularly lazy, I suppose you wouldn't be awake. And she kind of looks around and she's kind of like, for example, I don't see that little scoundrel anywhere.
Oh, yes, where is the little one? Has anybody seen him? Sorry.
That's for you guys to answer. I'm not in this one.
I mean, Annalisa's like, well, don't ask me. I wasn't here.
Wiggs, have you seen our spry young fellow?
Yes, I have.
Well, then where is he?
Haven't seen him since last night when he snuck into my room.
Aha! And
Wait,
Lisa
what?
kind of like jumps and points. It's like, I knew it. I've caught him doing that before. I've known it. That little thief.
Well, did he steal anything?
No, but I burnt him.
Well, he doesn't sound much like a thief then.
And Lisa clicks her tongue and she's like, well, just because he hasn't stolen anything yet doesn't mean I'm not on to him.
Oh, I love Annalisa so much.
I love her too.
All right.
Well, Ordo, as he looks around and doesn't see Tuck, he decides to go check on Tuck.
Yeah. You don't know which room Tuck is in. How do you find out?
I approach the front desk
Yeah.
and say, "Hi, I'm looking for my friend that I helped check in yesterday. That little fellow."
We're so uncommunicative.
He goes, little. Oh yeah. You're talking about the half elf guy. Yeah. He's in room 205.
I was gonna say 207. Damn.
Just
Well,
next
thank you
door.
very much. And so Ordo walks over and like goes to gently knock on the door, but he's huge.
He's huge. Yeah, you break.
Which is like,
Not
You
big
you
thud.
gently knock on the door and it falls down and it crumbles. No, you knock on the door gently and Tucker, you now hear a slight rapping at your door. Tucker, you stirred up from your slumber as this rapping goes on for a little bit. What do you do, Tucker?
Tuck is going to startle awake, his curls disheveled. He's gonna look out and see the sun up. And is Lanu like relatively an early riser? Like, does he make Tuck like wake up early when they're together?
Nah, Lanu's chill as
Or-
fuck, dude. Lanu wakes up when Lanu wakes up, but usually you guys wake up at
Hell
the
yeah.
sunrise. If you have curtains, which you probably do have like some basic curtains, but like they're probably thinner. But you guys, since you travel in the cart or in tent and stuff like that, you probably get a lot more sun than you typically would in this room. Especially since there's more buildings around y'all and whatnot. So it's definitely possible that like no sun entered. You guys wake up essentially when the sun does. But Lanu, from what you know, Lanu does take a few shifts at night just to kind of keep an eye out.
All right.
But he
Tuck is
also sets up the alarm spell, of course, but still.
all right. Tuck is going to pull on his boots and he's going to answer the door, still a little bit sleepy and disheveled looking, and he's going to come face to face with Ordo's stomach.
Yeah.
And he's going to look up and he's going to be like, "Oh shit, is it time to go already?"
Ah, yes, little one. You're awake. It is time. We must adventure.
I like your spirit. And he's going
Thank
to stretch a little bit, get his limbs more limber, and he's going to be like, "Are we going to grab any food?"
Sorry, you cut off.
Oh, he's going to say, "Are we going to grab anything to eat?"
Well, there's food downstairs.
Cool. And he's going to hop downstairs with Fry and his
Actually,
staff.
sorry, real quick. Before we go down, like as we make our way downstairs,
Mhm.
Ordo does want to Tuck, real quick. Wiggs mentioned you had snuck into her room last night. Is there something going on?
busted.
You're in trouble.
Tuck is going to there's a flash of this little like he's cringing at himself look on his face, and he's gonna be like, yeah, I guess I just wanted to, check her out, I guess.
Oh, are you interested in her?
No, not like that. I was talking to some of those farmers. Last night, and one of them mentioned that she kind of showed up at the time that the slimes did, and I don't know. She doesn't really, talk about herself. Really. She says she doesn't remember either.
Well, I will say, when you've been alive for as long as I have, you'll learn that some people just don't want to talk about their past. And then once again looks off in the distance with a very melancholy look.
You look right into the wall 2 feet away from you.
Well,
You said you're 25, right?
indeed.
How long do Luxodons usually live?
Oh, about 300 to 400 years.
You're not that old, dude.
But how long does it take for him to mature? Like
At the
1,
same rate
2?
as humans.
Oh, what the heck?
Well,
I mean, you'd be like
yes, but
old
I mean,
for
I've
maybe
still,
a goblin.
I mean, I'm older than you, aren't I?
Yeah, but
There's a lot of there's a lot of growth that happens between your adolescence and your early adulthood, all right? There's a lot of growth.
I'm 17.
And well, you haven't hit adulthood yet. That's all I can say. And like you will understand when you're older. Trust me. But like you can tell, like the entire time he means like no disrespect. It's just clear lack of understanding of social cues.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Tuck is like rubbing his face like it's too early for this.
Ordo's so tall he can't help talking down to people.
So, listen, man, where did you grow up?
That's a story for another day, young one.
Let
us. Go ahead.
Sorry, you guys are saying this as you're walking down the stairs, and it's not too much longer that you guys, as you essentially reach this topic, you guys are essentially at the table that Wiggs and Annalisa are kind of sitting at. You guys are just like a few feet away, as Ordo says, "Listen, everyone, this is a topic for another day."
And good news, everyone. I've solved that issue that we had just discussed, so no need to pursue it further. And he has his hands on his hips, just like triumphantly.
Annalisa looks over and is like, "It looks like you brought the problem here, actually."
Tucker is going to look at her and go, "Oh, Annalisa, I see you put on your hiking dress today."
How good of you to notice. Yes, I did.
You are hiking in that?
Yes, of course I am. How else would I be hiking?
Well, and
You expect me to go home and change? I am more prepared than that, thank you.
oh, okay. And sort of under his breath, just these folk are strange.
Amazing.
Does Tucker hear him say that?
It's under his breath. I say if you strained, you probably could. You could probably hear him like something like, "Oh, something strange," and like you've heard him say these folk are strange before, so you get the gist.
He's gonna pat Ordo's arm and be like, "Well, you fit right in. You fit right in then, buddy."
I do. I've always had trouble fitting in.
Yes, I can imagine. And so she looks up at him.
He just continues looking off in the distance.
Well, Annalisa stands up and claps her hands together. Is like, "Well, now that we're all assembled, I suppose we should get on our way."
I agree. Let the adventuring commence.
Yes.
Throws his meaty palm in the air.
All right, everyone, roll initiative. No, I'm kidding. You guys start your adventure commencing. It definitely looks like Annalisa's leading y'all. Annalisa, which part of the grove are you bringing them to first?
I feel like Annalisa, like, these are people working for her, so I feel like she would have heard something about, like, the area that people are having the most slime complaints.
Yeah.
So I think obviously she would go there.
So you're going to be heading towards the southwest region. When you look at the map of Vine Grove, there is a road that kind of goes down. While it used to be a more prosperous road that led to other cities, it has since decayed away essentially over time and become rougher. And it's only been used now for internal transit to further parts of the grove. You're aware that if you go a little further down that road past the two houses and to your west, you'll have a lot more areas. This is kind of the wilder area, shall we say, where there's more vines and produce and stuff and less buildings. Kind of like the perfect area for wildlife and apparently slimes to kind of chill out among the grapevines.
Do we see any slimes start heading? Any slime extract.
Yeah.
Excrement.
What?
Like
Do we see
goo.
any slimy excrement?
Yeah,
Do we
like
see
goo,
any
like
slime poop,
tracking.
Steph? Answer the
Yeah.
question.
Okay. Yeah. Do you see?
Like a
Steph, we need to
slime
know.
trail?
Yes, like
Ooh.
a slime trail, like trail.
Okay. You know what? All right. You guys are gonna try. So you guys are heading to the southwest, and Annalisa leads you guys there. I want you guys to give me a survival roll, since you'll be tracking them. Whoever is best at survival, I assume. I'm not sure if Annalisa is gonna get on her hands and knees and look.
I mean,
at everybody.
Annalisa has a -1 to survival, so
Ordo has a +4.
Ordo it is.
All right. I'm a wise boy.
Can Tuck help him?
Yes,
You
Tuck,
want this?
give me a helping roll. Survival, D20 plus your survival. If it gets above a 10, you've helped him.
Okay. I got a 14.
Cool.
All right, so that definitely helps out. So you get an advantage on
I
your
got it.
roll.
Okay, cool, good, because I rolled a 3.
Oh.
All right, 22.
So the good news is after you kind of look around, you don't see anything immediately. Like you're thinking like tracking like a deer, you look for the poop, right? Like you're seeing if there's any like globules of slime left. But Tucker starts kind of thinking like Tucker probably mentions something a little bit more about the burns. And then you have the idea, Ordo, to think about the sorry, Neville. Real quick question: is it Ordo or door?
Ordo, O-R-D-O.
I spelled your name wrong.
That's
That's why
what's
everyone's
going
saying
on.
Ordo. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh,
I
you
saw him
did.
mention-
You did in fact.
I saw him mention in the Discord that it's Ordo.
With a sad
yeah,
face.
I saw that too. But I did hear some.
I've
Some
been
people
calling you
pronouncing it wrong.
Ordo, and I've been calling you Ordo, and I just realized
That's
like
fair.
one of the viewers, Hissington, is just like Ordor. I'm like, did I spell something wrong? That might be my fault. And guess what? It is absolutely my fault.
It's all blame it on the DM.
Blame
One
it on the
doubt.
fucking DM. Yeah, 100%. The good news is I could literally just open it and fix it real quick. And it's gonna bother me until I do. So let me do this real quick. It's gonna bug the hell out of me. You have no clue.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, this is the behind the scenes part, y'all. Like this is the part y'all really get to really enjoy. Steph opens up Clip Studio Paint to fix that one text. If I have said anyone else's names wrong on here, please correct me immediately, so I don't have to redo this text 1,000 times.
Yeah, my name looks right.
Well, everyone else has like simple names or like. I guess Annalisa is complicated, but it's not like foreign or like fantasy. I mean,
Wow, you're saying
foreign or
foreign.
I don't know what. I don't know.
Are you saying that Ordo is foreign?
No.
Wow. All right.
Wow.
Can't believe you're saying
Stop.
Ordo doesn't belong.
Whoa.
All right, there you go. It's all fixed now.
Oh.
Hissington, I'm doing my best. All right, buddy. As you kind of look around and he mentions these burns, you start looking at the plant specifically for traces of burns, like as if part of the plant had been eaten up by like an acid or something like that. And you do find multiple plants that have been eaten up by acid. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to them, but you're able to kind of see like, here's how the trail works. Here's how I could kind of, I guess, know where they've been.
Gotcha.
And possibly where they've not been, where they might go. You don't know if they're eating the grapevines or anything, but you do know that like at least some of the grapevines seem to be damaged from the acid. The acidic properties of their body.
Gotcha. All right. So when noticing that, I think I might be onto something. This way, friends. And lead them in that direction.
Tuck is going to follow, and he's going to turn to Annalisa, and he'd be like, Ordo stealing your thunder.
Annalisa's gonna go like, nonsense. He's proving his worth is all. Something you could stand to do.
gonna get really offended, and he's going to be like, "I helped."
And then Ordo, like, just hearing the I helped, he just like pats Tuck on the head. It's like, yes, you did, little one. You did a great job. Thank you.
Tuck is
continue.
going to point at Ordo and be like mute face of like, see.
Annalisa's gonna roll her eyes.
You guys make your way towards a further part west, and you southwest, and you do see that as you continue going a little further down, the river. Oh god, which one was the river that I put on the bottom? The river Perseverance. It's not too far from y'all. You do kind of see it in the distance. The grapes don't go all the way down there, obviously, but as you kind of get further into the grape grove, a grape vineyard. There's a word for it. As you get further into the vineyard, you do actually see some more burns, and eventually, you see your first slime. This slime is just the size of a small basketball, size of a basketball, and it's just kind of wandering around. Like it looks like it's accidentally bumping into the plants, essentially. It doesn't seem to be actively hunting the plants or anything. But it doesn't seem to actually have paid attention to you or even seen you guys yet. What do you do?
So the slime is just kind of like bapping into plants.
It's more along the lines of like it's moving, and then just every once in a while, like as it moves, it tends to brush against plants. It's not hunting them. It's not going for them. It seems to be just moving on its own accord, and like if the plant leaf brushes upon it, like that leaf kind of dissolves into it.
Go ahead, sorry.
Looking at it, Tucker is going to turn to the group and he's going to say, "It doesn't really look."
What was that?
Tuck is going to turn to the group and he's going to say, "It doesn't really look particularly hostile."
Doesn't look particularly hostile, Noel said.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, something's been hunting, and it certainly seems to be burning away the edges of my vineyard.
Annalisa, would you like to take care of this one?
Wait. Tuck is going to stand out. This is one slime. Don't we want to, find a bunch of slime?
Well, if this is causing damage to the vineyard, I feel like it would be in our best interest to have it stop dealing damage to the vineyard.
I agree, Annalisa says, and she pulls out she starts pulling out her great axe.
Roll for
But
initiative.
God damn it.
All of us, or
I think it's just Annalisa versus the slime right now.
okay. I mean, I was. Order was planning on watching.
You have to get below
Hold
a
on,
2.
It got. Pardon?
You have to get below a 2 to lose against this guy. I'm just saying.
Well, she got a 10, so.
Annalisa, you get to go first. The slime is kind of just wandering around. Doesn't even seem to notice you at first. But you now have your great axe out, just stalking it from behind. You easily get within 5 feet. What do you want to do?
Annalisa is gonna go ahead and attack it with her great axe.
Roll to hit.
Alright, that's a 15.
Yeah, that hits a little bit.
Alright, where's my d12?
Oh shit, do a d12 of damage.
Goodness.
Okay,
Golly gee.
so that's 11 plus 3, that's 14 damage.
Sorry.
You could immediately tell that your damage doesn't do as much. Your attack doesn't do as much as it probably should.
Oh, yeah, it's slashing damage. I forgot to mention you.
Yeah, your attack doesn't do as much as it probably should. But you kind of like go through it, and like at first just like, wait, why is it not dead? Then you kind of like move your axe, like swish, 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 and they kind of spews the slime out a little bit. The slime does not seem to reform as you do attack it, but you do get some like on your axe and on the few plants nearby. After it burns, the slime just kind of falls harmlessly to the ground, and just you eviscerated the poor thing. Even though it has
Is it on her dress?
Let me roll for that. It is not on your dress, no.
All right. And Lisa goes, and that takes care of that. And she turns
Order just
around.
claps as well as he can with his meaty palms.
Yeah, remember, elephants are some of the quietest creatures when they walk. So like when you just like it's just like the physical. That's all you see.
Very, very good, little one. That was impressive.
Thank you. Of course, I knew I would take care of it in one hit.
I'm sure you did. Now let us continue.
Before you guys continue, actually, you hear rustling from behind you. And I think at this point I'll have Wiggs give me a perception roll. Or Wiggs, you could give me a knowledge roll. Either you could give me a knowledge nature roll. Your choice, Wiggs.
Wig said in the Discord that they'll be right back.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I have
just
not
saw
been
that.
paying attention to the Discord at all. 3 minutes.
I died. Sorry.
Bum, 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 bum.
What did I miss?
What did I miss?
All right.
Annalisa destroyed a slime.
Yeah,
in one
completely.
hit.
Yeah, Tuck is just gonna cross his arms and he's just basically going to say, you know, Annalisa, we could have followed that thing. Maybe it had a nest that we could have stalked it to.
Actually, Tucker, you could give me either perception roll or a knowledge nature roll.
Nature is +2 and you said perception?
Yeah.
Perception is +3, so I'll do perception.
Sure.
That's a 6.
All right. Nobody notices until it's a little too late. You guys hear some rustling behind you, and as you guys kind of look behind, you see a small group of 7 slimes kind of rustling through the leaves. And this is where we'll leave off for today.
Ooh.
Aw.
A cliffhanger.
Yeah. In all reality, we're going to try to
Right.
keep these games to about 3 hours.
Yeah.
For 2 reasons. One, I'm going to have to edit them, put them on SoundCloud. And 2,
geez, yeah.
I will have to also put them on YouTube for everyone else. But yeah, you guys take a look around. You see 7 slimes coming your way. From what you could tell, they have heard and or sensed the magical pheromones of their slime brethren from being absolutely destroyed. But I do want to thank you guys very much for joining me. Did you guys have fun?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I love this.
Good. That makes me very happy. And I do want to thank everyone else who joined us as well. I'm gonna. If you guys have anything to say before I do the credits, feel free to go on at it.
Thank you for having us, man. I mean, I'm just like really excited to do this, and it's gonna be really interesting doing this in front of an audience.
Yeah, it's been real fun. As always, thanks for DMing for us stuff and for coming up with this awesome, cool world, and everybody else for bringing their awesome, cool characters.
Yeah, it's honestly more than my pleasure. So all the viewers know, I am going to be doing this once every other week. I have a normal D&D session every other Friday, so I kind of switch in and out, essentially. I do hope you guys enjoyed the fantastic beginning for this journey. And let's get over to the credits just before I go on and say our goodbyes. First and foremost, I want to say a big special thank you to AJ for their support. They are amazing. They're one of my best friends, and they do amazing emote work. Take a look at those emotes. They're fantastic. I want to thank Scott 2 Network very much for doing the intro music. Scott 2 Network is also pretty fantastic. Take a look at their stuff. Of course, a huge thank you to my mods, AJ and Colin, and a double big thank you to all of you guys who have supported me throughout this time. Without you guys, I couldn't do that. And we actually had Oh, great. I had time to actually get this up, and I didn't even get it up. I had time to get up the credits rolls I had from Streamlabs, and guess who didn't get it up, guys? Take a wild guess.
Was it you?
It was me, yeah. And a big thank you to everyone else, specifically, of course, our moderators, who are Streamlabs, apparently, not AJ. For the brand new followers, Sky Wiggly and Lou Craven, hey, welcome. And our brand new subscriber, Lou Craven, hey, thank you very much for joining us today. It was honestly a blast. I do hope you guys enjoy it. I play D&D consistently, so being able to stream it is a lot of fun. Check out my Twitter, Discord channel, and YouTube down below. This episode, which is going to be titled Fantasy Cool Episode 1 Through the Vines and Grapes, will be on YouTube by Sunday. I do plan on doing a podcasting thing with Spotify and iTunes and stuff. I just need to learn how to use SoundCloud to do that, and I don't think I get to schedule that. It'll just be some time after we do it. But I do have a plan to essentially release all the Raw episodes, and then at the end of each arc, quote unquote, I'll release a big like story episode that's just a story and none of the awkward movements of me doing mistakes. Guys, I'm good at words, I promise. I can DM things. But thank you guys very much for joining. Thank you guys very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it. Next, I put on the wrong thing. I'm so good at this Twitch thing. I put on the wrong screen. I do want to thank everyone for joining me. I want to thank you all for having fun. And in 2 weeks, on July 17th, will be our next game. I do hope you guys enjoy it. How do words good? Hissington, that's a good fucking question, my dude. I'll see you guys soon. Stay Botanist Cool. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 I'm Wiggs. Goodbye.